don't get to play is because it usually overlaps with Patriots minicamp. So this year it didn't. I was all excited because minicamp was supposed to be next week. Then I hear they're moving it up, and I thought I was not going to be able to play. But now they're doing Tuesday to Thursday instead of Monday to Wednesday, so I was able to play, which was great. And then it's back out to the practice fields tomorrow. Big, sneaky, big week minicamp coming up for the Patriots. Sneaky, big week here coming up. Not in the sense that, look, it's important. You know, they're doing install. They're getting ready for the season. They canceled a week of OTAs, so you feel like they're probably going to get a lot done in this minicamp here. But just in terms of seeing where things lie with certain players on the team, I think it's a big week in that regard. Christian Gonzalez. Mike Reese says he's going to be there. Mike Vrabel said last week he expected him to be there. We'll get more to that in a little bit, but like, is he participating or is it a hold-in? I am admittedly a little surprised Kayson Boutte's going to show up. I wondered if this was a thing. He knows he's getting traded. The team knows he's getting traded. Would they waive the fine just to kind of do him a favor so he doesn't have to come practice with the team he's probably not going to be a part of, might not be a part of? But he's going to be there. And before we get to those individual situations, as I was kind of prepping for this week yesterday and the kind of things, because we go in and we find out, Mike Vrabel's going to talk before each practice. We'll know which players are going to talk, things like that. And so you think about, as somebody who covers the team, all right, what are the stories I want to write this week? What do I want to cover? What do I want to talk about? What's the most important? Most importantly, what are people going to want to hear about? And this time, the last few years, it's been major structural questions. I mean, for the last 2 years, it was a new coach. And what was that going to look like? There were quarterback battles or rookie quarterbacks. And what are these guys going to look like? And how's their development going? Was Drake May going to be ready last year? Or 2 years ago up against Jacoby Brissett last year? What kind of jump was he going to take? That sort of thing. It was like big picture, heavy, immediate franchise stuff. And those are the kind of things you have to talk about in the spring when the team's not very good. What a long way we've come in just here. The Christian Gonzalez thing is a big deal. But I'm still optimistic they're going to get it signed. Maybe not by practice on Tuesday. And I don't think they need to get it signed by practice on Tuesday. I have a timeline I'll give you in a little bit. I don't think they need to get it signed by practice on Tuesday. But I think they'll get it signed. So, not a major deal. The Boutte thing's interesting. That's kind of a unique situation. But at the end of the day, yeah, I'll take them having too many wide receivers from where we've been the last years. We're not talking about major starting questions on the offensive line. When will Caleb Lomu be ready is a question, certainly. But they have a starting caliber right tackle in Morgan Moses. There's no rush. There's no rush for that. How does Jared Wilson look at center? Certainly a question, but we know he's an NFL caliber player. He played guard last year. So it just shows how fast they were able to turn this around and how fast they were able to get it going, because it's I don't know, it's not quite champagne problems, but it's a long way from the potential issues we were talking about with this team. Well, even as recently as last year, is Drake May actually the guy? And I was somebody who said, yes, I believed in the flashes I saw in 24. I thought he was dragged down by a bad situation. Turns out I was right. But it was a fair question. I mean, that's what I thought, but it wasn't a guarantee by any means. What's the offensive line going to look like? There were a couple spots that didn't have sure starters. The left guard at this time last year is Wes Schweitzer. He retired before the start of the season. So that was like a real legitimate question. I think Michael Onwenu, we weren't really sure where he was going to play. So it really is a big change in a year. And we'll see what goes on this week. It'll also be, the last couple times Vrabel's talked, there's been dominating topics. It was the Diana Rossini situation when he talked leading up to the draft. A couple times he talked leading up to the draft. Last time we saw him, it was a couple things on Rossini and then Gonzalez or that was 2 times ago. And then last time was all the A.J. Brown stuff. I think he got one question. He did. He got one question that was not about A.J. Brown, and it was about Christian Gonzalez and the contract. So he's talking 3 days in a row. We'll get a little more, hear his thoughts on the specifics on the roster, the nitty-gritty on the team. I'm really interested to hear what he's going to say Wednesday and Thursday especially, because there's only... is tomorrow going to be another Gonzalez, Booty, maybe A.J. Brownish heavy day? Probably. Those are the biggest stories for sure. Is it 3 days of asking about just those 3 players? No, I don't think so. I have other questions for him that I'm looking forward to asking. We'll see if I get it in tomorrow or maybe later this week, but I definitely have stuff I want to ask him. But it's just a different dynamic. It's just a different dynamic that shows, again, how far they've come, and they got to build on it, certainly. They're not even favorited right now to win the division, which I think is wild. They won it last year. They've got, in my mind, markedly better. Buffalo is not. Buffalo's maybe gotten a smidge better. I do not believe in DJ Moore. And DJ Moore was their big investment this offseason, essentially. But I don't know how the Patriots aren't favored to win the division. And again, so they got to prove themselves. But they've gained a lot of ground. A lot of ground here from this time last year, thinking about what the big storylines were. I should pull up my mini camp preview from last year and see what we were talking about at this time in 2025. What were the big stories? That's this year's. Where's last year's? I'll find it, and we'll talk about it. But I remember what the big story was after the first day of OTAs last year. Drake May threw 4 interceptions in his first 6 passes. First day of OTAs. And they went to the Super Bowl. But yeah, it's been a long way. We'll get to that. I do want to do a little more Patriots, talk about the Christian Gonzalez situation. I think an important timeline. We'll get to Keyshawn Booty as well. We are going to talk Celtics too tonight and the NBA. Big game tonight. I do not believe the series is over. I think the Spurs are a more talented team than the New York Knicks. I do not think that a 2-0 deficit, even going on the road, is something they can't overcome. They lose tonight, though. That might be it. And by the way, I do not think the Spurs are the only team that's more talented than the New York Knicks. We'll get into that as well. Obviously, we're going to do in and out. We're going to do musings. We're going to do all that. Plus your calls. You want to weigh in on any of it? Patriots, Celtics, Red Sox. We can take some Bruins calls, too. Ty Anderson, Matt Dolph aren't here, but I'll do my best. They did put out a new episode of Sports Hub Underground today, so check that out. But your calls, 617-779-0985. We're off and running here. It's Alex Barth in for Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
Back here on the Sports Hub, Alex Barth in for Joe Murray tonight. Opening Talking Little Patriots, because of course we are. And then we're going to get some basketball, because this is a big basketball night. If you're listening anywhere in Boston, give us a call, 617-779-0985. If you are in one of these ridiculously long lines outside of MSG, give us a call. I think that includes the media line. I saw Bobby Manning was there, and he was like around the corner trying to get in. So I think they said they weren't letting people in until 6:30. Yeah, there's some videos now of people starting to get in, but it looks like it's going to be a little tough getting in there. So if you're waiting in line, 617-779-0985. While we wait for the basketball, I do want to get to some more football stuff. Christian Gonzalez, big week for him. Big week for him and his contract and the team and us learning where they're at. I think the most common question I get about that situation is not when will the deal get done, but when would I be worried if it's not? Which is a fair question. So I actually went back and looked up the timeline from the previous year's draft class. So Gonzalez was drafted in 23. This is the first year those players are eligible for their extension. So I went back and looked at the 22 class and when they signed, and then for some guys, how much they participate in the spring. To get an idea of, okay, well, when are the Patriots behind schedule when it comes to Christian Gonzalez? And I'll highlight the defensive backs. So the first player from that class to sign an extension was a corner. It was Derek Stingley. He was the first corner off the board. He signed his extension on March 17th of last year. March 17th. So I think that had to have been, I don't think that was before free agency, but it was right around the start of free agency, right after the new league year. It was right in there. March 17th. That's way ahead of schedule. You don't have another player sign an extension from that draft class until April 27th. So we're talking like 6 weeks later. Tyler Smith, who's a guard, signs his extension on April 27th, and then Charles Cross, a tackle, signs his on April 28th. So you have two linemen sign on back-to-back days. Still pretty ahead of schedule. No extensions in May, no extensions in June. The next player to sign an extension from that draft class was Garrett, and he's eligible this whole time, was Garrett Wilson. He signed on July 14th. So that's well after minicamp. And then Sauce Gardner signed his extension the next day, July 15th. We're not even halfway through this list. Kyle Hamilton, a safety, signed August 27th. So that's into camp. That's after camp. That's like that week between camp and the regular season. Then you had Jamison Williams sign on September 6th. Aiden Hutchinson signed his extension on October 29th. Jordan Davis signed his on March 8th of this year. And then I'm still going because I got one more for you. Trent McDuffie, who was the other first-round corner in that draft who got an extension, he didn't sign until March 11th of this year. He played the full season last year for the Chiefs, extension eligible without a deal, got traded to the Rams, remember, back in March, and then signed his extension as part of that trade, March 11th. So the Patriots are not really behind schedule when it comes to Christian Gonzalez. I've said this all along. Get it done by the real start of camp. Ideally, the first day of camp, but I would consider the real start of training camp. Oh, the Red Sox lost another challenge. Shocker. That whole day they spent on it, that, by the way, they should have done in March. Didn't help. We'll get to that later. The Patriots are not behind schedule. I've said, just get it done by the first day of pads. That's the real start of training camp. Get it done by the first day of pads. That's when you don't want a missing time. That's when I'd be worried. But, okay, they're not behind schedule. Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Kyle Hamilton all signed in July and August. Those guys were at minicamp. And I know Gardner participated. I couldn't find if Wilson truly participated or was a hold-in, but they were all there. So it's a big week for Christian Gonzalez. If he participates, deal's almost done. I think we go on deal watch. Like, do they get it signed before he goes home for the summer? Because once these guys leave, outside of the rookies and maybe a couple guys who are coming off injuries getting treatment, Usually once minicamp ends, guys aren't coming back to the last week in July. Now, I'm sure Gonzalez would come back up here to sign the contract and get that done, but do they get it done to save the trip? If he participates, we're in that territory. If it's a hold-in, okay, now maybe this runs into camp. Now maybe you're talking about this going a little longer, and it becomes a little bit of a bigger story, and it kind of dominates. It would be the biggest Patriots story, I would think. Now, if they have A.J. Brown, I don't think you have a bigger storyline facing the team until camp starts. So we'll see. This is going to be a big week to see where they're at with him. Justin and Lynn wants to talk about the Gonzalez contract. What's up, Justin?
Hey, Alex, it's Justin.
Hey, Justin.
I just wanted to talk about this. I called in last week and I said it's imperative. The Patriots going to steal time for Christian Gonzalez. And I heard a report earlier this week that they were looking to do it before the season. I just wanted your thoughts, Alex.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Justin. I mean, I definitely think you want to get it done before the season. This is not something you want to go into the season with. And I'll say this, for the guys that signed after the season started, most of them anyway, Jameson Williams was not resetting the market at that position. Jordan Davis was not. I don't think Aiden Hutchinson did. He might have. What was his contract? Those, I mean, they were significant contracts, for sure. But you're not talking about a guy who's going to reset the entire value at the position. It was the highest guaranteed money among non-quarterbacks in the league. Okay. Oh, but he was coming off the injury. That's why they waited. Okay, so that one's a little different. Carve that one out because there's a qualifier there. I forgot about that. He was hurt. So Jameson Williams wasn't resetting the market. Jordan Davis wasn't resetting the market. Those guys, and for what's worth, Trayvon Walker wasn't. Drake London got a nice deal, wasn't resetting the market. And notable first-round picks who have not signed extensions, by the way. Olave, reportedly, they're negotiating now. Jermaine Johnson was traded by the Jets. Has not signed an extension with the Titans. He can. Tyler Linderbaum with the Ravens, they declined his fifth-year option, and he left in free agency, which is a weird move for a very good player. And Devin Lloyd, they declined his fifth-year option. He left in free agency as well, so obviously not extensions. Those guys have now both gotten full-on second contracts. But Gonzalez is a guy that's going to reset the market. It's him, and the variable here is Devin Witherspoon. Both of those guys are going to reset the cornerback market. Both of those guys, at least at a point in time, will be the highest paid cornerback in the NFL, mainly probably with AAV. The number to beat right now is Trent McDuffie, who signed earlier this offseason, $31 million a year. 100 total guaranteed through 30-31, $50 million fully guaranteed, $124 million value. So however you break it up, let's call it $31 million a year. When they did this dance last year with Stingley and Gardner, Stingley got $30 million, and then Gardner got $30 million or $30.1 million. It would be the adult way to say that. I don't know why I forgot how to talk for a second. $30.1 million. So they basically got the same thing, but Gardner's able to say, although Stingley had a little more guaranteed money, Gardner had more total value in another year. But like Gardner's able to say, oh no, I'm the highest paid corner because he got 100,000 more than Stingley. My guess is that's going to be the case with Gonzalez and Devin Witherspoon, who's still yet to sign his extension. Now, they're not going to go to 31.1. I think they're probably going to go to 32 or 33 because the cap has gone up. But one's going to get 32 and one's going to get 32.1 or 0.15 or whatever. You know, there'll probably be some other sort of pissing contest where, okay, last year the highest paid was by 100,000, so this year it's going to be 150,000 or 200,000 or something. I don't know. So it's a game of chicken between Gonzalez and Witherspoon and between the Patriots and the Seahawks in a way. If you're the player, you don't want to be the first one to sign and that you're going to get a little more money. Now, there are benefits to being the first one to sign, and you're signed. You have the money. You don't have the money until you're signed, and you get it done, and you don't have to worry about practicing or playing and risking injury or anything like that. So there is value to it. If you're the teams, you want to be the first one to get it done, but there's also, if you wait, so there's the race to get it done, but there's also the argument that if you wait, well, what if The Seahawks and Witherspoon come in lower than what the Patriots and Gonzalez were. That's leverage for the Patriots. Okay, well, we'll still pay you more than Witherspoon, but see, it's, you wanted 33, we wanted 32. He got 32. We'll call it 32.1, 32.2, something like that. So it's all this big game of chicken, basically, that is going to accelerate the sooner we get to training camp.
How much of them having the same agent do you think is part of this? Because I feel like that is slightly unusual.
Well,
like at the same time having two guys at the same exact position who are about to reset the market and they're both with the same exact agency. Like, you wonder from their perspective, like, who is more valuable? Who do you want to sign first so that, that other guy's going to get the little bump? Like,
right, the agents. Well, but then if you're the other guy,
well, exactly.
You're saying, like, why didn't you get me signed?
That's what I'm saying. So,
right.
Like,
why do I have to sign first?
Has to be part of it, I would imagine.
I will say, according to Spotrac, oh, no, they do have the same. So they're both CAA, and I was like, no, these are different names. According to Spotrac, Devin, and this is why overthecap.com is just a better website. Personally, that's how I feel. Christian Gonzalez's agent is listed as Reggie Johnson. Devin Witherspoon's agent is listed as Reginald Johnson. So that tripped me up for a second. But I think I cracked that case.
That's why you're the best, Barth.
Thank you. Both working for the same company. I think that sorts it out. But I don't think it's that unusual because so many of these guys are repped by these big conglomerate agencies at this point that I don't know for sure. I would imagine this has happened before. And even if they're not the same agents, both being from CAA or both being Rosenhaus, right? And they're not all the Rosenhaus guys are repped directly by Rosenhaus. He might come in and get it across the finish line for a big name player, but Rosenhaus employs agents that work for him. It's a business. If they're good agents, they'll negotiate separately. I think if you're the agent, you want to get it done sooner rather than later. I think that there's a little onus on, and now for a different reason than the team. The team you want to sign first because if you sign before the other guy, it's going to be cheaper. I think for the agents, you just want to take care of your player because I think the players are going to get annoyed if the money's in the ballpark. The players are going to get annoyed if it drags on too long because I'm sure the players want some level of certainty. Sure, first and foremost, they want the money, but I think if you're Christian Gonzalez or you're Devin Witherspoon, part of you just wants it done and have the contract signed, get that nice signing bonus, and you're taken care of. You're set. You're set for life. And you don't want your agent, if you find out your agent is dragging your situation on because the other guy, I wouldn't be happy with that. No, you got the deal that I want, that you feel is fair, but you're waiting to get more so that this other, no, give me my money. It's my money and I need it now. Was that J.G. Wentworth, right? It's my money and I need it now. I'd imagine there's some level of that. All right, we got to hit the break. I want to talk about another player, maybe a little unexpectedly, coming to Patriots minicamp tomorrow. We'll do that after these headlines. It's Alex Barth in for Joe Murray.
Grew up in Louisiana, stayed there 20 years, but not Boston is my life. So,
what was your reaction when you guys signed or acquired AJ Brown?
that was a good pickup, man. He a great dude. You watch him play, dominate, great X receiver, dominant. Whether that's deep ball, short route, he can catch a slant, take it to the house. Big body, contested catcher. Who watch those guys? I'm an X receiver too, so I sit there and kind of watch his tape. Just a guy you see that constantly wins one-on-ones.
That's what he's saying. That's the reporting. For Patriots minicamp, how involved will he be? Will he see? And just how much longer will he be here? Patriots fans, I don't know if you've noticed this, Skaz, in the calls that you guys have gotten. Patriots fans are very attached to Kayshon Boutte. And I to an extent, I understand why. They have not been able to draft at the wide receiver position for years. You get a guy that a lot of people have written off from the league entirely, was viewed as a first-round talent, falls due to injury. And, hey, he's a legitimate NFL player. Like, he's a good complimentary receiver. He's had back-to-back 500-yard seasons. That's 2 more 500-yard seasons than N'Keal Harry had.
Not exactly a high bar.
It's 2 more than... Did Tyquan get to 100 or 500 with the Chiefs last year? It's like their only option. Almost. He got to 438. He was on pace. He played 14 games. So, yeah, okay. Chad Jackson never got there. Who am I missing? The guys they drafted high.
Dobson?
Aaron Dobson, I don't believe had a 500-yard season.
Malcolm Mitchell?
I think Malcolm Mitchell did. That one was different. They also didn't draft him high. Aaron Dobson did have one 500-yard season when he was a rookie. 37 catches, 519 yards, 4 touchdowns in 12 games. That's actually not bad.
What about preseason superstar? Was it Brian Timms?
Brian Timms, but these are more like, I'm talking about the high draft picks. They had all these guys that were supposed to be the next guy. Brian Timms never supposed to be the next guy. Malcolm Mitchell, we knew the deal with the injuries. He had 400 yards, by the way.
Well, I'm kind of glad you said this, Barth, and you posed it the way you did, because originally at night here, I would almost say that we've kind of gotten the opposite. Whereas people are done with Kayshon Boutte. They say we've got Romeo Dobbs, we've got Mac Hollins, we've got AJ Brown now. We don't need Kayshon Boutte, and I'm kind of in the camp that, with you, where you drafted this guy. He has a rapport with Drake May. Not that I'm, attached to Kayshon Boutte, but I think he's a solid NFL wide receiver. And, moving on from those guys as the New England Patriots isn't really something that I think they should do.
So you didn't let me finish.
Please.
I understand the attachment, and I think he's a good player. And I'm not giving him away. I'm not just, 7th-round pick, take him. I just don't see the massive upside in keeping him. Here's the reality of it. They have A.J. Brown. He plays on the outside. He plays the X. He's going to be on the field a lot. They have Mac Hollins who can play the X. They have Kyle Williams who can play the X. Those guys are also Z's, which is another position that Kayshon Boutte can play. They have Romeo Dobbs in the slot. I know a lot of people are out on Demario Douglas. Kayshon Boutte and Demario Douglas do not overlap. There's more of a role for the Demario Douglas type of wide receiver on this team right now than Kayshon Boutte. Kayshon Boutte is also going into a contract year. They're not going to pay him, and if he's here playing 15% of the snaps, is he going to want to be here? Because if he has a limited role and his numbers drop, he's not going to get paid. Versus if he goes somewhere where he's going to have a chance to start, and he builds on what he's done the last couple of years and maybe gets to 600-700 yards, which he's not going to get to here, assuming everybody stays healthy, then he's really going to get paid. Now, maybe you hold on to him a little longer in a training camp, but, how's he going to handle it? It sounds like he has a great approach. I just don't see... I don't see him with a role on this year's team. And let me ask you this, Skaz. And that's all fair points. He's good chemistry with Drake May. He plays on the outside. There's going to be a bigger role in their offense, all that. Are you paying him after this year? Are you going to pay him?
Well, I think that's the question. What does paying Kayshon Boutte look like next year? What is that deal? He's only 24. He's going to be 25, next offseason. I don't hate having a 25-year-old wide receiver continuing to grow with Drake May.
Well, one of two things is going to happen. Either he's not going to play a lot, he's not going to put up big numbers, then he's probably going to want to leave. It's not going to matter what you pay him. Or if he does end up playing and puts up numbers, you're talking about at least $20 million a year. You going to pay him $20 million a year on top of what A.J. Brown's getting, the Gonzalez extension, the Drake May extension? Is $20 million to Kayshon Boutte the best usage of that?
No, probably not.
So if you're going to lose him anyway, to me, get something for him. And again, I'm not trying to rush the guy out the door. I actually think he's been a good player. It's really impressive how he's reinvented his career. The way he wins now is not the way he won at LSU. He was like a Deebo Samuel type at LSU. He had a really bad ankle injury, cost him a lot of straight line speed, and he's reinvented his career. And credit to him for it. A guy I'll always root for, wherever he is. I just don't... I think him staying on the Patriots, playing 15% of the snaps in a contract year is not what's best for the team and not what's best for him either. Outside of the feel good of, hey, the Patriots finally drafted a receiver that hit, I don't think it's a good situation for either side for him to stay here. And I'd look at a player-for-player trade. I've said this. Trade him in a 5th-round pick for Kayvon Thibodeau. They need help. They need help on the edge. If you can find a way to flip him for an edge or a linebacker or a corner or a guard, and maybe some of these you're getting a pick back, like a guard and a future starting guard and a pick for Kayshon Boutte, something like that. You know, if like Jackson Powers Johnson's fallen out of favor in Vegas, they don't have a ton of wide receiver talent. Something like that would make all the sense in the world to me. Pete in Pembroke has a question on Kayshon Boutte. Pete, what's up?
Hey, yeah, Barth, it was going to be pretty much what you just had. I was just going to see pretty much, I agree we should trade him. Kind of curious what you think his value is. I mean, and you can kind of just answer that. So, yeah, I'm just going to hang up and listen. Thanks.
Cool, thanks. So Albert Breer had reported a 5th-round pick. I think that's probably about right. The intriguing thing to me is the player-for-player trade, especially if they can get an edge rusher. I am worried about where they are at on the edge right now. Let's just go through their edge group real quick. It's Harold Landry is their top guy, who it seems like they're counting on a lot. Is one of Rabel's guys. He is on the wrong side of 30, just turned 30, wrong side of 30, and as of March was still rehabbing a knee injury that significantly limited him for most of last season. So I don't think he's a sure thing. I think his upside's great. I think he can be a 10-sack guy if he's right. Do you feel good about him being right? Tough to say. Got to see him on the field, see how he's moving. But he's an unknown. Then you have Gabe Akis, who is also, it sounds like, maybe dealing with a hamstring issue. And according to some, Mike Reese said this on a podcast last week, like, minor, should be back soon. But this is important developmental time for a rookie. Is he going to be a little bit behind? And do you really want to put your entire pass rush on a rookie right away? I like Akis. I don't think he's that level of player, not right now. Then you have Draymond Jones, a fine complimentary player, but that's what he is. He's a complimentary player. He's not somebody you want as your linchpin pass rusher. You have Elijah Ponder, who played 250 snaps last year, looked okay, but again, complimentary player at best. You're not going from that role to being your primary pass rusher. And then that's it for proven NFL, any sort of NFL talent or significant draft investment. Braden Swinson, I think, played a handful of snaps last year on special teams. That's it. Jesse Lucado's here. He's been a special teamer throughout his NFL career. Q Hutchins was a 7th-round pick. He's also got some legal trouble hanging out there. And Xavier Holmes was a UDFA. So let me ask you this, Skaz. If you could trade Kayshon Boutte for a player, you highlighted the value. You don't want to send value out for a pick that you won't see the return on right away. Okay, I think that's a fair argument. I don't think it's the strongest argument. I'd still trade him, but that's a fair argument. If I told you could trade Kayshon Boutte for an edge rusher who will give you 40 to 50% of the snaps and be a solid player rushing the passer, does that change how you look at it at all?
Yeah, I think you could sell me on that because I think that's the kind of move you kind of almost are forcing yourself into. I think that with the addition of A.J. Brown, you've kind of forced yourself into a shorter window. Not with Drake May. Obviously that long-term window is still there, but I
Right.
think with this roster, you are trying to win a Super Bowl in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yes.
So trading Keishon Boutte for a future pick does absolutely nothing really for me. You just traded, those picks for A.J. Brown, so you're in win now mode to me. I think it is AFC Championship. It is Super Bowl or bust for this team the next 2 to 3 years. That is what the front office and the head coach are pretty much telling us, I think. So, yeah, if you could get an actual impact player on the defensive side of the ball for Keishon Boutte, you could sell me on that.
The thing that I think people need to adjust to, and I understand it's an adjustment for me. When you talk to people in the NFL, like personnel people, how they view big picture, what they're doing. Most NFL moves are viewed through 3 windows concurrently. The 1-year window, the 3-year window, and the 5-year window. How does this impact us for this upcoming season? How does this impact us for the next 3 years? And how does this impact us for the next 5 years? And every move is viewed through one of those windows. And not every move is going to service every window. Sometimes you borrow from the 5-year to help the 1 year. Sometimes you borrow from the 1 year to help the 5-year. That's rebuilding versus contention, right? Since Brady left, and you could even argue the last year or two of Brady, everything the Patriots have done has been viewed, rightfully so, through the 5-year window. Because they were a rebuilding team, and what did the 1-year window matter when you didn't have a starting quarterback? Now, you could argue they maybe should have cared a little more about the 1 to 3 year when Mac Jones showed a little too much promise in 21, but they didn't, and whatever. They're here now. It worked out. They got Drake May. I do not want them prioritizing the 5-year window right now. To your point, they have Drake May. They'll be fine in the 5-year window. They'll be okay. I don't think they're going to suck in 5 years by any means. But if you can be a lot better right now, this year, coming off a Super Bowl, trying to chase another one, it's going to hurt you a little bit in like 5 to 6 years. Okay. You have time to figure out how to recoup that value. I'm good with that. I think the 1 to 3 year window is what they need to focus on primarily right now. And I think the A.J. Brown trade did that, and they should be applauded for that because they haven't made that kind of move. And I think trading Keishon Boutte, if you can find a player-for-player trade, especially for an edge rusher, that's a 1 to 3 year window move. And those are the kind of moves they should be making. I see you guys lining up on the phones. We're going to take a break, come back right to your calls here. It's Alex Barth in for Joe Murray on the Sports Hub. American Patriots. You want to talk some Pats? 617-779-0985. We'll do some basketball in a little bit as well if you want to call in with that. But let's go to the phones. Ryan in Rochester has an idea for what the Patriots should do about Kayshon Boutte. Ryan.
Hey, Barthy. So
Hey.
I agree. I do agree that that Thibodeau would be the best case scenario, but I did think of something else. So obviously with Julian Hill going down, they do need a blocking tight end. So I was thinking the Rams could use another wide receiver in their own right, and they seem to have like a massive log jam at tight end because they drafted 2 tight ends in the past couple of years. Read something that Colby Parkinson could be the odd man out there. So what would you think of that?
Yeah, that you could sell me on that. You could definitely sell me on that. I didn't realize how much of a logjam they had there. I just pulled up their depth chart. You're right. It's a lot. Yeah, if they're going to move him, he can block. He can pass catch a little bit. I'm trying to find out what his contract situation is, but
I think it's like 1 year left, something like that.
yeah, 1 year left, $9 million. Yeah, I mean, the Patriots are probably throwing in a day 3 pick there, similar to Thibodeau, but if they were going to move him, yeah, that's a legit player-for-player trade. I'd get behind that.
I mean, because aside from that, it's just it's Tanner Arkin and then C.J. Dupree who are like again. I think I might have called in last weekend saying this, but I really don't want to see Jack Westover try and block someone again. I might puke. I'd much rather be one of the UDFA guys. But if he can swing for someone, a veteran guy like Parkinson, who's what is he like 6'7", like 266, and you already know he can block. I'd love that.
Parkinson is, and thanks for the call, man. I see him listed 6'7", anywhere from 250 to 265. Yeah, that would work. I do wonder with the blocking tight end. I do think they like Dupree and they like Arkin. I wonder if that's a spot where they're going to give those guys a chance and they'll get into camp and they'll let both those guys compete for that blocking tight end role. And if they like what they see, they'll roll with it. And if they don't, then maybe, mid-August after the first preseason game, they make a move. Sometimes you see teams do that where they have young players battling at a position and you have some older players, whether it's in a trade, something like that. The Rams may wait to see if a team gets desperate. Or you just have some veterans that don't want to do the early days of training camp that don't want to sign. I've said this. And at first I was joking, and the more I say it, the more I actually kind of buy into it. Mercedes Lewis. Yeah, he's 42 years old. He can still block. He'd be a good voice in the locker room. Go sign Mercedes Lewis if he wants to play again. Let's go to TJ in Braintree. TJ, what's up?
What's up, Barth? Big fan of your work, man.
Thank you.
I just wanted to throw 2 things at you. One, along the same lines, I think we're all freaking out about the tight end position here.
Okay.
One name from outside the organization would be a Boutte trade. Boutte for Michael Mayer out in Vegas.
So I will say, I hear
blocked.
his name a lot. Michael Mayer has made some comments. They weren't directly about Josh McDaniels, but it didn't sound like him and Josh McDaniels truly clicked. And I wonder if that's something they would explore. I'll let you get to your second point in a second. I'll just read this. So Mayer was asked, not specifically about McDaniels, but after McDaniels left, coming back the next year, kind of how he felt things had changed. And for him personally, he said, my mentality, my attitude this year, nothing wrong with last year, but it's different this year. It's different. I'm way happier. I'm more positive. I love to be out on this field. I love to play football, man. It's what I do. It's my job. I've definitely flipped the script a little bit. Last year, maybe there were some days I didn't want to come in or something was going down. I flipped the script. So, and then he mentions it's in the past, blah, blah, blah. Again, not specifically about Josh McDaniels, but you hear that and it's like, okay, is that a fit? But anyway, besides that, he'd be if it works with him, McDaniels, he'd be a fit
over there. So
yeah. What was the other one?
The other one, this one, you can call me an idiot if you want, but is it out of the realm of possibility that Matt Collins could play some type of pseudo tight end? I mean, his blocking skills are elite, and he can obviously catch the ball. So that's kind of something that I had going through my head, and I'll just take your answer off the air. Thanks, man.
Cool. Yeah, so Matt Collins is going to play some pseudo tight end in the way he did last year. His blocking is great for a receiver. Like, that's where that's scaled. He's a fine blocker for a tight end. He's like average. But an average blocking tight end is a great blocking wide receiver. That's the difference. So they'll use him in some conceptual ways. They'd use the tight end a little bit, but he's not he's not as good a blocker as Julian Hill. He's not a replacement on that level. But they'll find ways to use him. I actually wonder if they'll use him a little bit less because they have a fullback now, and they'll want to get that guy on the field more. And, the other caller mentioned Jack Westover and his blocking, and so they had to compensate for not having a true fullback, and I think Matt Collins was part of how they did that. Reg Gilliam's a true fullback and then some. Like, he can play. He's one of my favorite signings this offseason, so they may not need Matt Collins as much in that role. So that's some Patriots talk for you. 1 hour down, 3 to go, 617-779-0985. We can keep it going with the Patriots if you want, but I do want to talk some basketball. They are inside MSG. The pregame show's underway. Looks like the crowd's already out. They are booing Wemby, according to social media. I want to talk about what this series has told us about the Celtics, though. We'll do that after these headlines. 90 seconds, no commercials. We're right back here. It's Alex Barth in for Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
From the Town Fair Tire Studio, this is
Strong finger all up and go.
This is home of the 18-time world champion Boston Celtics. WBZ FM and HD Boston 98.5. The Sports Hub. Sports Hub headlines.
The Red Sox and Rays kicking off a 3-game series in Tampa Bay tonight. It is the bottom of the 5th in Tampa, all tied at 1. Connolly Early still on the mound for the Sox. The Red Sox lone run coming off Marcelo Meyer home run. NBA Finals Game 3 tonight. The Knicks and the Spurs. Tip-off scheduled for about half an hour from now. The Knicks looking to get their lead up to 3-0. The Spurs trying to take a step towards evening this series back up and pushing it to at least 5 games. The Patriots announced today they've signed first-round pick Caleb Lomu. They've now signed 8 of their 9 draft picks. Second-round pick Gabe Akis, the lone player left to put pen to paper. And in college football, Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby was granted an injunction by a judge in Texas, allowing him to play for Texas Tech this year. Sorsby had previously been ruled ineligible by the NCAA after it was discovered he'd bet approximately $90,000 on professional and college sports over 4 years, including betting on Indiana during his time with the team. Sorsby will still serve a 2-game suspension to start the year. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning. 24-hour on-call service for your clog drain emergencies. Go to johnsewer.com. I'm Alex Barth on Boston's Over Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Listen to it, laugh at it, get mad at it, agree with it, argue about it. It is Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
I look at it more. Well, first of all, I think it's really fair, and we need to look at everything. And I think that's going to be the charge. The other thing that we haven't been done this early in a while, and so there's time to do deep dives, and it's really important that we all do them. I will say that I look at more each shot individually, and my general feeling watching us play in really each of the last 2 playoffs, in the second round against New York, even against Orlando in the first round, was we had a hard time generating really good looks on that first shot. So we got to figure out a way to do better in that. And I think that's, again, I think that one of the things that we've got to figure out is how to have more of an impact at the rim. And I think we do need to add to our team.
Is back in New York. Knicks trying to take a 3-0 lead, but I'm gonna localize this. I'm gonna localize this game, this series, and I'm gonna make it about the Celtics and Skaz. I have a question for you because you're more of a hoop head than me, and I think I drew some ire with this take over the weekend. It felt like a good 50-50 split, but people were fired up both ways. It's unfortunate the Celtics are not here. And I think something that's getting lost in all of this, in this Knicks run, I think people are using this because the Knicks are not viewed as a serious contender for a lot of this season. They were a good team in a bad Eastern Conference. They were not viewed on this level. But something I think has gotten lost in this is it's now become okay that the Celtics came up short because, well, maybe the East was better than we thought. Nope. I disagree. I will say this with my whole chest. With the Knicks up 2-0 in the NBA Finals. The Celtics are a more talented team and have a better roster than the New York Knicks. And that's not to say the Celtics roster is perfect. It isn't. They need to improve.
You're very wrong.
The Celtics had the talent to get here. Talent is not the reason they're not here. All right, Skaz. I'll phrase it to you this way. You are starting a team. You can pick your own coach. You can pick your own play style. You can pick your own whatever. You can make any trades or free agency or whatever you want. Cuts, however you want to do it. You get 15 players to start with. You either get the Celtics 15 or you get the Knicks 15. Who are you taking?
Oh, that's tough.
Is it tough or am I actually right?
No, the Knicks are a much better team than the Boston Celtics.
The Celtics have more talent on their roster than the Knicks. That is the take.
They have two guys that are talented.
The Celtics have a better roster. Okay? They have two guys that are talented. 2 years ago, when the Celtics were making their run, a take I had was that, and it ended up not happening, they're going to run into Jokic. Is Porzingis enough? They don't have enough depth in the front court to deal with Jokic. And I got bled so much. It's the NBA. Only stars matter in the NBA. Like, what are you talking about? Backup center in the NBA. It doesn't matter. Now, ultimately, we don't know. But okay, the star power won out. Now, all of a sudden, the bench matters. Skaz, is the Knicks bench that much better that it closes the gap that exists between Tatum and Brown and Brunson and Towns?
No, it's the Knicks starting five that closes the gap.
All right, is the gap...
Karl Anthony Towns is 10 times the player Neemias Queta is. Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby are far better.
So does Derek White suck now? Like I heard that Derek White was top 20 player in the league.
Not from me.
Okay, fair. I heard how great Derek White was. You talk about the bench, Peyton Pritchard, 6th man of the year.
Not a Peyton Pritchard guy personally, but yes, Peyton Pritchard is a good bench player.
So again, you get 15 players to start a team with. You can either pick the Celtics 15 or the Knicks 15. Who are you taking? Who's in a better position roster-wise?
I would say roster-wise, the Celtics are in a better position.
Yeah. So, and that's my point. The Celtics had the roster to get this far.
No, they didn't, though.
But if they had a better roster than the Knicks, and the Knicks got this far...
I didn't say they have a better roster. That's not what you asked.
So you would take the lesser roster when I say...
Yes, the Celtics have much more flexibility going forward than the New York Knicks.
So there was a Cowherd clip we played on Felger and Maz where he actually argued the opposite. That's where I got this take. It's, would you rather have...
Because you could cut ties with everybody on the Knicks pretty much in a year or two. I'm guessing was the take, something of that.
It was, would you rather have Brown and Tatum on 70% of the cap or Towns and Brunson on 55% of the cap? You're not doing anything with that 15% that closes that gap. You're just not.
Yeah, I would take Tatum and Brown, but I think Karl Anthony Towns is, a lot better than people around here.
Okay, but it's a superstar league. The Celtics have 2 top 15 players.
Yeah, sure.
Do the Knicks have 2 top 15 players?
Close, or 2 top 20 maybe.
Okay, but it's not top 15.
Probably
in a
not.
Superstar league.
I would rank Cat above Brunson.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people would, though.
Brunson has the big moments. I wouldn't call him a better player.
Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns is the best shooting big man of all time, and it's not that close. I mean, Dirk is probably, second, I would say, but who's a better shooting big man than Karl Anthony Towns? Just doesn't exist.
Dirk
Guy shoots threes.
I guess. Porzingis?
I'd take Cat over him.
I mean, I think... Are you the best big man who can shoot or the best big man at shooting? Because there's some big men that are very good shooters, but they're not good at the other big men stuff.
Yeah, I think Cat is all of that. Yeah.
So he's the most well-rounded.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. I mean, he's a very good player.
He's the MVP for me right now if they win, but I don't think he will. I think it'll be Brunson.
Okay, sure. Fair. I just think the Celtics had the roster to get this far. And the roster can be better. They need a real center. They need another point guard. They need to move off some of these wings that run too hot and cold. Like, don't get me wrong. Sam Hauser's a good player. Baylor Shireman's a good player. Ugo Gonzalez was encouraging this year. You don't need 3 of that guy. You need 1, maybe 2. I think Hauser's a very tradable asset. I would be a little disappointed, frankly, if he's on this team next year. That's nothing against him. I just think, again, they have redundancies there. They have other needs. They can use him to address that. But I think the Celtics were, because the Knicks, this has not been easy for the Knicks. The big difference is kind of the same issue the Celtics have. Has Mitch Johnson had a good series? I think Mitch Johnson's had a brutal series.
He's been bad, especially late in games, which I would say matters.
And I also just think the Spurs are a young team. I know the Knicks don't have a lot of players who have been to the finals, but they just have a lot of professional NBA experience.
Yeah, I think OG won a title, but I mean, you're looking at Josh Hart, like guys that have just played a lot.
And they also have guys that made the run in college, so that's not nothing, right? So I think that's showing up too, and that wouldn't have been an issue with the Celtics, but like, I still think the bigger issue with the Celtics is philosophy and scheme and the coach. The roster can be better. So let me ask you this. If you really think the Knicks roster is that close to the Celtics, then they have to trade Jaylen Brown, right?
Well, I'm a fire Joe Mazzulla, trade Derek White, Sam Hauser, and Peyton Pritchard guy. That's how I fix the Celtics. I think you.
I'm with you on the first one. I'd hold on to Derek White.
Yeah, I think he's your most. I think you could get the most for him. You know, maybe Peyton Pritchard because of the contract, but Derek White is about to be 32. I don't want to say Derek White's best basketball is behind him. I think he can be a very good NBA player.
It's the old Belichick move on a year too early versus a year too late.
I would rather reset kind of the younger side of the roster, and you know, with Tatum and Brown still, you know, for now in their 20s, you know, I think younger is the way to go.
So we were talking about this the other day with Cerrone. I'm trying to remember the trade somebody sent me, because Cerrone brought up Sabonis.
That's one that gets brought up a lot. Jared Allen is another one.
I would take Jared Allen.
Derek White for Jared Allen.
I think it was Derek White and Hauser for Sabonis, like, worked financially.
Sabonis is like, he's almost like, you know, A-Rod or Mark Teixeira or Anthony Davis at this point, where it's just like every year we're doing Sabonis stuff.
Well, he's not going to play his whole career in Sacramento.
Well, no, he can't.
Nobody can.
Yes, no, you hope not.
Don't. That's a minor league team.
Yes, no. Maybe the worst in all of the NBA, which is saying something.
I don't know. Why do the Charlotte Hornets exist?
It's a great question. They could be the Tennessee Hornets soon, Barth, don't you?
Is that a thing?
I don't think it's going to happen, but it is a rumor.
Well, no, because aren't they going to move the Grizzlies after LeBron went on that rant?
That's a rumor as well. But apparently, Adam Silver says no. Memphis is keeping the Grizzlies. You know. All
right. Well, Adam Silver.
Water sources down there.
I can't stand Adam Silver. Let's grab one call before we hit the break, because we were going to talk to Bobby Krivitsky about this. Gabe in West Roxbury, what's up?
Hey guys. Hey Alex. Quick thing. So 2 years ago, the Celtics, when they lost to the Knicks, you know, they were going to lose before Tatum got hurt. That team had Porzingis, Drew Holiday, Cornette, and I'm missing one other guy.
Okay,
but that team was better. And then you think this team that
so hang on.
Step back.
Yeah. So remind me what happened the first 2 games of that series.
I smoke weed, Barth. I don't remember.
The Celtics blew 2 20-point leads because the coach choked.
Okay,
they were more talented. The Celtics were more talented then too. They should have won that series. The Celtics should have won that series. All you have to do is not blow 2 20-point leads.
They should have won the series this year. They blew 20.
Yes, they keep blowing big leads. That's coaching.
Okay. All right. Real quick. I kind of with Skaz. Like, I don't want to break up Brown and Tatum.
Neither do I.
But we need Celtics need to get a big man in here.
Correct.
Like, Sabonis is like the Anthony Davis kind of now. But I think they really need to kind of, if they can get more than, like, I think White, if they can get rid of White and Hauser to get, I don't think they'll get Sabonis with that. But with picks, who knows? But I think that's what rebounder and some big guys, Cornette, Porzingis, and Horford. The 3 big guys on the team before, you know, we didn't have this year. So
fair enough. All. No, they need a. Thanks for the call. They need a center. I'm with you. I love center's my favorite position. I hate how the league has strayed from that. I don't buy into positionless basketball. Yeah, I'm in on a center. Skaz, Derek White, Sam Hauser, 2 first-round picks. That get you Sabonis?
Oof. I hope it doesn't cost that much. 2 firsts I'm giving up for
White,
Sabonis?
Hauser, and a first?
I guess. Fine, if I have to.
Do you think the Kings do that?
Barth, trying to guess what the Kings
That's
are
fair.
going to do is a tough proposition. But if I'm the Kings, I first of all, I think the Giannis thing is done. I don't think Boston is getting Giannis.
Okay, we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, I know we're going to do that later, but I think that's different. So I like the idea. Let's move on. Realistic targets. I would do that, yes. Pritchard, Hauser, and a pick. Is that what you're saying?
White, Hauser, and a pick.
Yeah, you could sell me on
Or
that.
whoever the Kings value more. You take one of the guards, Sam Hauser, and a pick.
Done.
Yeah, I'd probably do that. And again, because I've given this take a few times on the air, and people have called in and said, well, the Celtics lost to the Knicks with a better team 2 years ago. Not because of the roster talent, because of the coaching, because they blew those leads. Joe Mazzulla went full Kyle Shanahan. That's not fair. Mazzulla has a ring. Shanahan try again does not. But I think that series proves my point. That they had a better roster then than they do now, and they still couldn't win. Are you telling me that this Knicks team is better than the Celtics with Porzingis and Holiday? Forget what they are now, Porzingis and Holiday? No, of course they're not. In terms of pure talent, 2K overall rating, no. That's not why the Celtics aren't here. The roster needs to be better. But it was good enough in a weak Eastern Conference. But I like that people are fired up about that take. I need to get people fired up about more non-football takes. I like to remind people I can talk more than football, so I'm proud of this one. I'm going to keep rolling with it. You know what? Let's ask Bobby Krivitsky. Covers the Celtics for Forbes. He'll join us next here. It's Alex Barth in for Joe Murray.
You're listening to
somebody here who does tend to get precedent. We got it? Yes? No? All right. We'll talk to Bobby Krivitsky in a moment. He covers Celtics for Forbes. They're getting ready to tip off Game 3 of the NBA Finals. I still don't think this series is over. I still think if the Spurs win tonight, we got a full-on series. Because I think a lot of it is the lights have been bright. The lights have been bright for a young team, and if they get one, now you got that confidence, that swagger, you got that under your belt. Do they kind of lock in? Mitch Johnson starts to figure things out, and you go. Are we taking this call? Or is he just talking to Skaz? We will see. I believe that is Scott and Rentham on the line. No? All right. Should I take Bobby? All right. We're going to take. He just called talk to Skaz. I guess he doesn't want to talk to me. Fair enough. All right. Let's talk to Bobby Krivitsky, covers Celtics for him. Sorry, Bobby, to make you play second fiddle there. But when Zoe calls, you kind of stop the show.
All good. Yeah, I totally understand. No problems at all, Alex.
All right, let's talk some basketball though. Let's get in. Before we get into the series, my thesis on this series from a Celtics fan point of view, I think that this series and this Knicks run has caused people to maybe be a little softer on the Celtics exit than they were at first, and I think that's getting caught in the moment. So I ask you, Bobby Krivitsky, in terms of roster talent, 1 to 15, you're starting a team. You can pick your own coach. You can pick your own play style. You can pick your own uniforms, building, city, whatever. But you can make moves. You can make trades. But you get 15 players to start with. And you can start with the Celtics 15 or you can start with the Knicks 15. Who are you taking?
I'll start with, I think that the Knicks right now have a better 1 through 5. So I would start with them, with that group. And this was something that people got caught up in last year. And the Celtics, it's inexcusable to blow 2 20-point second-half leads on your home floor. And then we all know what happened with Jason Tatum in Game 4 in New York. But what people focus so much on different aspects, like how easily they could target Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns defensively. And obviously we've seen Towns go to another level at that end of the floor this year, and especially in the playoffs. But what people kind of lost track of was that it wasn't just the idea that they traded for Bridges and they had just got Anunoby before during the season. Now they added Towns. It was that they had a core quartet all of a sudden that could contend with your group, especially once Kristaps Porzingis is a shell of himself. It becomes that all of a sudden the talent at the top, which is what matters most in the playoffs, the pendulum was swinging towards the Knicks going into that series. And now you're seeing a group that is even better under Mike Brown. And quite frankly, they're fresher from both the path and the approach that their new head coach has taken to help get them there. And so the Knicks, when you look at this group and the way they're playing, I would take their top 4, top 5 over who the Celtics have to compare to, even though I do think that Jason Tatum is the best player in a conversation and a draft between these two rosters.
So I definitely agree. Like, there's an element of the Celtics have played really late in the year, multiple years in a row. You throw the Olympics in as well, and like they were just kind of gassed, and they were doing that regard. But you said it. This is a league about star power and about superstars. And for me, do the Knicks have a better supporting cast? Yes. Is it enough to close the gap that exists between the Tatum-Brown duo and the Towns-Brunson duo? I don't think so. I think that the Celtics are ultimately, I would start with the Celtics because I have Tatum and Brown, and I think starting from that point, I'd rather start from that point and add the supporting cast, the players you're talking about, than have that supporting cast and have to find a way to add a true superstar.
Well, so the way the league works now is it is the weak link era. That's who gets hunted the most on defense, and that's kind of where these games ultimately get decided. And so the Knicks, that formula where they can trust Jalen Brunson to close out a tight game for them, and then they have
this group with multiple two-way wings at a high level in OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, plus Karl Anthony Towns playing at an all-NBA level right now. You give me that group with Josh Hart, that is better than what the Celtics are trotting out there at the moment, even though that might come as a surprise when you look at Jaylen Brown having a strong case for an all-NBA first-team selection this year. He was in the MVP conversation. And Jason Tatum, again, the best player in this entire discussion. It's still the reality that the Celtics need to make a move to reach the Knicks, and it's not the other way around right now.
Again, we're talking to Bobby Krivitsky from Forbes. All right, what is that move? What can we're hearing now that maybe Boston isn't as realistic of a landing spot for Giannis. Does that move exist for the Celtics this offseason?
So I'll tell you this. I think that publicly and privately, the Celtics genuinely believe that they are not far away. And that was the answer that Brad Stevens gave me at his end-of-season press conference, that there's work to be done, but they don't feel they're far away. And so I think the spot to look at is the need to form a potent 1-2 punch at center with Neemias Queta, who I think will be their starter next season, and then someone else who's of that caliber. You look at some of the names, and I'm dubious. I don't think Mitchell Robinson is leaving New York, for example. I think the Thunder are probably going to find a way to bring back Isaiah Hardenstein. They have a rather expensive team option on him, but I think that will pave a path for him to stay in OKC. And so then you start looking at, one, the draft, but as far as getting a reliable veteran option, I think there's a legitimate possibility of a reunion with Robert Williams III this summer, and he fits the price range for a group that seems inclined to reset the repeater tax. So if you can get Robert Williams for around $13 million, and they do have the full non-taxpayer mid-level exception at $15 million to spend if they need it. So I look at an option like that, and I think the first place the Celtics are looking is shoring up their options at center to find someone to partner with Neemias Queta.
How about like a bigger swing? We were talking about this hypothetical earlier, and there'd probably be picks involved in here somewhere, but you pop it in the trade machine, you make it work. Derek White and Sam Hauser for somebody like Domantas Sabonis.
So I'm out on Sabonis. I don't think he's a guy that you win with in the playoffs, and I understand that he would slot differently in a hierarchy in Boston than in Sacramento when we last saw him in the postseason, but that's not a guy as good of a player as he is, and he's certainly talented at the offensive end of the floor, but I would just have my concerns about him in a playoff setting based on what we've seen in his examples of being in those environments. And so to me, if they're going to take a big swing, especially if it involves giving up Derek White, then I would have my sights set on a better player and someone who's more playoff proven, that you have more confidence going in than the Sabonis, even though I understand the idea of putting him into the group the Celtics have and what you're trying to address.
How much do you think, in addition to changing the roster, they're going to adjust stylistically? The thing I keep going back to, Joe Mazzulla during that series, after that series against the Sixers, talks about we were getting good looks, we liked our looks. Brad Stevens comes out his end of year press conference, doesn't directly dispute Mazzulla, but says we didn't get enough good looks. We were struggling to get looks. That, to me, felt like, whether it was on purpose or not, kind of putting the coach and the play style on notice. How much do you think they changed their style? And is this a case where, since Brad became GM, he's done a very good job of being hands-off for a former coach? I applaud him for that. But is this something where he maybe comes downstairs a little more this year?
I think that I think that this is the time where things get discussed heavily, and then you got to see what the roster looks like and go from there. But I think it's twofold. That, to me, the biggest changes are likely to come stylistically and in terms of being able to put more pressure on the rim, and secondly, have an easier time with their first shot offense and generating quality looks that didn't come as a result of an offensive rebound and a second chance opportunity. But also, you do need the players on the team to be able to accomplish that. Now, you think that Jason Tatum will have more confidence and start to go to the rim more reliably like he used to before this injury compared to when he returned last season. But as Brad Stevens said, it's going to take some additions to help address that and make it happen to a meaningful extent. And that's where things get interesting, where I can throw out a billion names and I don't think anyone's going to be over the moon about them. Colin Sexton, I think, would be a quality addition off the bench, but he's not going to be on the floor at the end of a playoff game if everyone's healthy and Derek White's still here. And so you go on down the line, and we'll just have to see what that looks like. Another move, Alex, that would it would be a big swing. I don't know if New Orleans is open to moving Trey Murphy III and what it would take to pry him, but that is a wing entering his prime who's got all-star potential, who is like 21st in the league in dunks and a reliable three-point shooter and a two-way player. So I think he would pair perfectly with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Again, we're talking to Bobby Krivitsky, covers the NBA and the Celtics for Forbes. Getting ready here for tip-off Game 3, Knicks-Spurs. Is this series over?
No, I don't think so. Now, I think the Knicks are going to win. I think they are both more talented overall, and I think the more experienced team is the mentally tougher side. But what the Spurs showed in not letting go of the rope and giving themselves a chance to win that game the other night, I'm curious to see. Victor Wembanyama said he thinks that they didn't do a good job of regaining their composure coming off the high of winning Game 7 in OKC and then having to turn their focus to the NBA Finals. It's probably too little too late now. I'm curious to see how they respond, starting tonight, obviously, but ultimately, I think this is a Knicks team that is not about to go from the second longest winning streak in playoff history to collapsing here in the finals.
We all know Wemby, obviously, is a tremendously talented player, but what have you thought of him on the stage for the first time?
I think it's the most vulnerable he's looked, and it's not a surprise that it's happening because Karl Anthony Towns has the skill to stretch him out and bring him away from the basket, and then the strength to outmuscle him. And so he has put Wemby in really difficult positions where Chet Holmgren, for example, has a slow release, and Wemby could go from protecting the rim to challenging his shot. And Karl Anthony Towns, it's not the same. It's a different beast, and he is struggling with it. In the first half, you could see it, that he looked mentally rattled, and Karl Anthony Towns was taking his lunch money, quite frankly. And then 2 quick fouls there, back-to-back in the third quarter, that forced Towns to the bench and kind of changed the complexion of the game. So we'll have to see if Wemby goes to another level and can respond right now in real time, or if this is one of those series for him that's going to be like LeBron James, where he was struggling with J.J. Barea and the Dallas Mavericks in 2011 and had to level up after that.
Bobby Krivitsky, he covers the Celtics for Forbes, the NBA for Forbes. You can check him out on social media at Bobby Krivitsky. Bobby, thanks so much for joining us.
Always a pleasure, Alex.
So we've been talking a lot of basketball. Skaz, I just sent you something. Did you see that? Are we hitting the breaking news sounder for this?
Barth on June 8th. Why not? This feels like breaking news to me in a baseball season with only bad news. Let's give you some more, maybe?
Hit it.
This is Breaking Sports News, powered by Valvoline Instant Oil Change on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
So this a few minutes ago from Tim Healy of the Boston Globe, who's obviously been all over the Red Sox front office as of late. The headline source, Red Sox not considering firing Craig Breslow for now. The Red Sox are not considering firing Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow, the team's source said Monday night. Further amid the team's underperformance and speculation that Breslow may be on the hot seat, the club's ownership hierarchy has not even discussed making a change, the source says. The article keeps going, so let's do this. We're going to hit the headlines. We're going to hit the break. I'm going to catch up on what Tim Healy has to say. Let's talk some baseball. You want to react? The Red Sox, according to Tim Healy, not considering firing Craig Breslow. 617-779-0985. Check the headlines. We're back with more on that. It's Alex Barth in for Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headline.
Barth in for Joe Murray tonight. We just hit you with a little bit of breaking news before the break. Let's get into it a little more. This from Tim Healy of the Boston Globe. Headline source: Red Sox not considering firing Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow. Reading more here. The Red Sox are not considering firing Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow, a team source said on Monday night. Let's start here, Skaz. How long do you think it took Tim Healy to write this column? This is about eyeballing it, taking out the quotes that are old. So those are like copy and paste in 350 words-ish, I would say. How long do you think it took him to put this together?
I would lean on the shorter side there, Barth. You're more of a writer than I am, much more of a writer than I am.
So what I'm getting at is, do you think this was told to him during the game tonight, that the Red Sox are losing 2-1 and have had some bad moments in?
No, I don't. Do you?
The thought crossed my mind.
Why tonight?
Well, why tonight? Well, so that's why. Is this reactionary to something in the game? Is it something else? But again, reading from here, the Red Sox not, and that's nothing against Tim. I'm just literally wondering. I was like, well, he could have put this together pretty quickly. So if he just got told it and flipped it, it might have come out during the game. And if it came out during the game, was it reactionary to the game, or was it just he was always going to post it at 8:30, whatever, and just how it lined up?
Yeah, I think the most, frustrating, aggravating thing about this as a Red Sox fan is that it's coming from Tim Healy, and he's somebody that I trust on his Red Sox coverage since he's been here.
I don't doubt this.
No, I'm not saying you do. I'm saying as a Red Sox fan, that's my issue, is that this is true, that this is a real report. I heard the midday, I think it was Beetle kind of saying they should just move on from Breslow now. And I think Jared Carrabis, there may have been some sound earlier in the day of him saying almost the same thing, that Craig Breslow is not safe. This, to me, seems almost to be a direct shot back at those comments.
Oh, do you think this is maybe in response? Cue the Carrabis cut up.
Well, so not even that, but how about Theo Epstein a week ago saying that he is sick and tired of how Craig Breslow is too into the analytics? But, Barth, if I'm not mistaken, you said in that article, Tim Healy said that ownership has had no talks of Craig Breslow whatsoever.
Let's keep going here. Have that Carrabis sound ready, though. So, again, Tim Healy, Boston Globe, the Red Sox are not considering firing Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow, a team source said Monday night. Further, amid the team's underperformance, that's a word for it, underperformance and speculation that Breslow may be on the hot seat, the club's ownership hierarchy, John Henry, Sam Kennedy, that's me. The club's ownership hierarchy has not even discussed making a change, the source said. That represents a measure of clarity at a time when the Red Sox, in Breslow's third season as the top baseball executive, are navigating an uncertain middle portion of the season. At 27-63 entering the week, they sit in last in the AL East and have been in the hunt for ways to improve their roster, including on the trade market. This year's been a step backwards following a playoff berth last season, blah, blah, blah. Already they made one move turnaround, mentions firing Alex Corey. Here's the other nugget in here that we already kind of knew, but this is just kind of hammering it home further. In recent weeks, the Red Sox have been focused on trying to bolster their roster as opposed to trading away big leaguers with an eye on 2027 and beyond. With the trade deadline not until August 3rd, they have 7 weeks or so until they really need to decide on a direction, buyer or seller. False. That is false. You don't decide on deadline day what you're doing. July 1, at least, at the latest, you have to decide. And if you want to buy, then sell. You want to sell, then buy. Some teams do that, depending on how July goes, but they don't have until August 3rd to figure it out. You got to figure it out before August 3rd. You don't start studying for the test when the teacher puts it down on your desk. But not even discussing it, huh? Now, so I wonder if we're going to go connecting this to other reports. There was a report, was it yesterday or today, that John Henry himself has been calling around, trying to help the Red Sox make a trade.
I believe that was earlier today.
Is this, why today, why now, Skaz, you asked, which is a good question.
Well, I just go back to the Theo thing. Isn't Theo a part of ownership?
So Theo's a part of ownership, and maybe this is infighting within ownership, or is this a message to other teams? Doesn't it kind of undermine Craig Breslow if he calls a team and tries to make a trade and the owner's out there doing it separately? Or is this trying to get all the ducks back in the line, at least publicly? No, you want to make a trade to deal with Craig. He's the guy. We have no questions about that. Craig's the guy. Yeah, John, that you say that report was blown up a little bit. John's not really calling around. Craig's our guy. Is it trying to reestablish that?
What a disaster.
Yeah, no, whatever it is, it's not good.
Certainly not good. Yeah, I mean, if it is trying to reestablish that, why are you having to do that in the first place? Why do you need to babysit your GM to such a degree? I don't know. Maybe ask yourselves that question. Ask yourselves why you're constantly babysitting the GM that now you're saying we're not going to fire. I would think that would be a reasonable question for this front office group at this point. But all reasonable questions don't seem to be the ones they're asking down there.
This also just goes back to something I thought of when they fired Cora. And this isn't to say firing Cora was the wrong move. I think they handled it poorly. I think he clearly, and I like Alex Cora, and I think he is, in a vacuum, a good manager. I just think he had run his course here, and the direction this team is going is not the direction of a team he wanted to be in charge of, and they had to move on from him. Okay, disclaimer, that said. That, I almost called it a post-game press conference. It kind of was. Remember in Baltimore, they didn't even have the background, the press conference they did in front of the Orioles background after they fired Cora. They were, to me, and some people have pushed back on this when I've given this take, and I went back and watched a little of the press conference. I'll do more of it now that we got this report. They were very, not defensive of Craig Breslow in that press conference, but they basically positioned it as, and I'm paraphrasing here, but they basically positioned the conversation or the decision as, well, we had to pick one. Cora wanted to go a direction. Breslow wanted to go a direction. We had to pick one. This is a direct quote from Sam Kennedy. We are a front office driven organization. He said that. And they basically hyped up the tone, to me, reading between the lines, and maybe people will interpret this differently. The tone to me was Alex Cora got us in this spot. Craig Breslow is going to get us out of it. And I remember thinking at the time, wow, they can't fire him. You can't put all this on him. Now, I was on McCarthy on Sunday. He viewed it a little differently, as they were basically setting Breslow up to be the next fall guy. Oh, no, this guy, Cora's gone. This guy it's on him now. It's all on him. And maybe that was it. Maybe we're interpreting it differently. But I remember, just the way I heard it was they can't fire him. You come out with this full volume support and you're going to fire him within months? But Jimmy Stewart made a good point as well. You cannot have a lame duck GM run a deadline where you probably should sell. And screw the stupid baseball playoff where they should sell. They're 4 games out. Please, sell. But is Craig Breslow going to do that without job security? I'll say this. I'd rather they extend him than do nothing. I'd rather they fire him. But I'd rather they extend him than do nothing. Because then at least he's going to do what's best for the team and not best for him. I don't want him making moves in July based on saving his job in the short term. I want him making moves in what's best for the Boston Red Sox. And that might mean bottoming out this year and missing the playoffs. But if that's what it takes to get it done, I want him feeling he can do that. And if he doesn't have contract security, is he going to do that? I don't know. Probably not. And he does technically have another year. He's under contract through 27, but he is essentially a lame duck GM for all intents and purposes. We will talk to Max Cerullo about this in a little bit. He will be joining us at 9:20. You want to call in on the Red Sox, 617-779-0985. We got a Celtics call on the line as well. We will get to in or out. We're pushing it back a little bit with this breaking news. We will get to in or out later in the program, musings as well. We do take a break, though. We'll come back right to your calls, 617-779-0985. It's Alex Barth in for Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
Don't go any.
the Red Sox are not considering firing Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow. According to his piece for the Globe, ownership has not even discussed that option. This comes as the Red Sox open up a series with the Rays in Tampa, getting late in this one. Top of the 8th just wrapped up. Red Sox trail 2-1. NBA Finals Game 3 is underway at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks trying to take a 3-0 lead, but it's the Spurs off to a hot start. They lead 24-17 late in the first quarter. Big start for Victor Wembanyama. He has 9 points in 7 minutes, 4 of 5 shooting from the floor. The Patriots announced today they've signed first-round pick tackle Caleb Lomu. They've now signed 8 of their 9 draft picks. Second-round pick Gabe Akis, the lone rookie, left unsigned. And in college football, Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby was granted an injunction by a Texas judge allowing him to play this year. Sorsby had previously been ruled ineligible by the NCAA after it was discovered he had bet approximately $90,000 on professional and college sports over 4 years, including betting on Indiana during his time with the team. So again, Sorsby originally was supposed to be ineligible to play this year. He will now just serve a 2-game suspension to start the year. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Alex Barth on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Diving effort. He's got a breakaway. To the backhand. Throws it in front. Coming to the spot. The Sports Hub.
Back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. 2 hours down, 2 hours to go. Alex Barth in for Joe Murray tonight. We got a lot going on. NBA Finals Game 3. We talked the Celtics, what we've learned about the Celtics from this final series. We also talked some Patriots, some Red Sox. You heard it there in the headline, the news tonight. The Red Sox not considering firing Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow. Your calls on all of it, 617-779-0985. We'll start off with a Celtics call. Ethan in Shrewsbury. Ethan, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, Barth? Great show tonight.
Thank you.
So I don't know if anyone's mentioned this or not, and this is a total flyer, but I was just kind of thinking of keeping Jaylen Brown and Tatum together just because I feel as though that's your best chance of winning.
I agree with you. Unless Jaylen Brown wants out, I wouldn't trade him.
Absolutely. So because of him selling his house, I mean, that's kind of a big deal. I know.
And those guys flip properties all the time.
Yeah, I know. That's true. But so as much as I would like to acquire Giannis, I kind of feel as though that might be a stretch. And if the Knicks win the finals, I feel like that might be the favorable place to go for him. But back to my point, if I may.
Yeah.
I feel as though that if this is possible, I feel like Ja Morant might be a good choice. I know he has a lot of off-the-court issues, but if he's able to get another chance and is brought to a stable place that already has stars solidified, he wouldn't have to play that big of a role. And he brings a lot of explosiveness, especially on the offensive side of the ball, which I think we struggled with this playoffs.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to hear your thoughts on that. I know it's kind of a stretch, but I feel like it's not that big of a stretch, especially if you want to keep Jaylen Brown and Tatum together and not want to split that up.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Ethan. Stylistically makes a lot of sense. They talked about wanting to get to the basket more, play at the rim, more dunks, and Ja Morant is a guy that is at his best attacking the basket. He reminds me a lot of a pre-injury Derrick Rose, or I should say prime Ja Morant did. Now, is he even 27 yet?
Ja Morant will turn 27 in August.
Okay. And he's had some injuries. He's had, as the caller mentioned, some off-the-court issues.
I think that's putting it lightly.
I love Ja Morant. I love watching him play. He is one of the most, when he's on, he's one of the most electric players. He's one of the most fun players in the NBA. That is how I like my basketball players to play.
When he's not on your team.
Well, if he plays like that on my team, I would still enjoy it. But will he play like that consistently?
Even at his best, Ja Morant is a very good player. I don't think he's a winning basketball player. Is that fair?
As a number one, no. You put him with Tatum and Brown?
He's just another guy who, I don't know. I like Ja, I do, but I'm out on Ja for that.
You don't want the Celtics in on him?
No, thank you.
You could sell me on it. If you don't, you're buying
Sneaky
low.
little guy. Sneaky little John Morant.
Oh, but he doesn't play like it. 6'2", 180?
I think in the playoffs, I'm just against the smaller point guard.
Maybe this is a me thing.
Proving me wrong.
Was it Hartford or was it Providence where he came with Murray State and had that all-time tournament game?
I think it was Providence.
I was at that game. That was special to see. It was me, my dad, and Mike Petralia, oddly enough, watching that game. If you're buying low, if it's truly like a buy low thing, guys, Sam Hauser for John Morant, straight up.
Sam Hauser for John Morant? Sure.
Let's say you're buying low. The Grizzlies just like, we're done. Nobody wants to touch him. He's been hurt. He's had this off the court stuff. You're trying to do like, you're basically trying to do like the Patriots Josh Gordon trade.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would do it. It's another, you got to move another guard. That's the thing. I think Hauser's not enough if you're bringing in John Morant.
Okay.
I think you'd have to move him and, Pritchard or something to get John Morant.
What if this is the second half of trading Derek White for Sabonis? And then you trade a wing. So, Derek White, Sam Hauser, Ugo Gonzalez out, plus picks.
I don't want to bring John Morant here.
All right. I would. If it's a buy low situation, I'm not trading like Derek White for him. I probably wouldn't trade Peyton Pritchard for him. If it's a guy you're probably going to have to trade anyway, I'd buy low on John Morant.
There's a guy on the Grizzlies, Santi Aldama, that I've heard they're interested in. That would be a much, much less costly move. He is a big, again, not a...
Yeah, he's a center, right?
Not a stalwart big, but yes, he's a...
What do you mean not a stalwart big?
He's another one of these kind of offensive bigs. He's a little more, I mean, he's not Porzingis, I guess, but he's also he's no Shaq. He's a legit 7-footer though, but he's like 200 pounds.
He has a bad knee too, right?
Yeah, they all do. Both.
Yeah. So you mentioned not liking the small point guards. I don't like the 7-footers that are sticks.
You find me a big man without a knee problem.
But specific, like if you're a 7-footer. You should be you should be 250 plus.
You want Rob Williams back? That's another one that's being floated around.
I do like Rob Williams.
I do too.
It's so hard to count on him because he can't stay healthy. If he could stay healthy, he's this generation's Ben Wallace.
He's the Willie Mo Pena of the Celtics. When he's out there, it's a highlight every time, but he's not really out there.
If you're telling me they're bringing him back as the second center and he's going to play 20 minutes a night, fine, I'm in.
He played 65 games last year,
but how many minutes per game?
A decent. He was actually pretty good last year, albeit in Portland on a bad roster. But
he played 17 minutes a game.
Yeah.
If you tell me he's going to play 17 minutes a game, fine.
I'm fine with that too.
If you're bringing him in to be the starting center, no, you need more. You need more than that. But yeah, no, I can't. The 7-foot, 210-pound guys, and it worked with Porzingis, and it's kind of working. But even with Wemby, they have to limit his minutes a lot. And Chet Holmgren's dealt with injuries. Those guys never last. 7-foot, 215 for Santi Aldama. Too much of a beanpole for me. That just screams availability issues, injuries. You're not supposed to be built like that. 7-foot, 250 is not big. I think Wemby's like 260. Wemby's 240.
Yeah, and he's like 7'6".
Yeah, again, tremendous player.
Would you rather be Wemby's height or 4 foot tall?
Wemby's height. What? Wemby's height? Is that even a question?
Hey, I'm spitballing here, Barth. It's a Monday night.
Yeah, I'd much rather be 7'4".
I think he's taller. I really do.
I do too. I think he's closer to 7'6". Have him and Yao met yet? I feel like that should happen.
I feel like that should too.
See if I can find a picture of this.
I loved watching Yao.
I did too. Again, and he had the weight.
Yeah, he was one of the few. Him and Shaq was the only guy that was ever really like
maintained it.
Yes, like all there physically all the time. Yeah,
I am not.
At the end,
seeing a picture of Wemby and Yao together, but Yao's still like out there in the public eye. He's still involved in basketball. It'll happen eventually, I would think. Those two should meet. Wemby and Yao. Oh yeah, prime Yao. Remember when he made the All-Star game, even though he didn't play in any games? because it was a pure fan vote at the time and people just loved Yao.
He's a guy that would like hit threes too. Like if he was in today's NBA, he could shoot. He was a shooter.
Oh, he was a very talented player. He wasn't just big. He could play when he wasn't hurt.
Yeah.
Could he shoot threes, guys?
Yes, I think he could. I don't know if he did, but he absolutely could have. If
in the NBA, he was a career 2 of 10 from 3.
Okay. So nowadays, he'd probably be like a 35% shooter. Brad would have him out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would teach him
Brook
up.
Lopez in a couple weeks.
They would coach him up. But yeah, the big skinny guy, the tall stick guy doesn't do it for me.
How about Craig Breslow? He do it for you, Barth?
No. No, he does not. And they're who are they bringing in now? I mean, I can't say they're going to blow this game because they're not going to blow it because they've been losing basically the whole time. But another good gem from the pitching staff. Lineup still can't hit. Caleb Durbin batting 6th tonight, not helping. That was a gem from Craig Breslow.
Worst Red Sox lineup of our lifetime?
I mean, the COVID year one's pretty bad.
That was bad.
There's some bad ones in it's up there. I don't know. I remember there being some bad ones in after the 07 team. I think things
Even
got a little
then,
lean between
had,
7 and
Ortiz,
13.
right? Like you still had Poppy.
I guess you still had Poppy.
Like even like when we were kids, like they had Mo Vaughn. They had like a couple guys.
Some of their 90s lineups are awesome.
Yes.
Maybe I'm thinking of years where like Ortiz was hurt. I'm looking. This is opening day lineup, so it's a little more boosted. But yeah, what was the COVID opening day lineup? Christian Vasquez, Michael Chavis.
Oh, the Ice Horse. Who could forget?
Who is Peraza? Jose Peraza.
Nope, don't remember him.
I guess they still had Devers, Bogarts, Benintendi, Bradley, Pilar,
Oof.
JD Martinez.
See, like even like Devers, Martinez,
Yeah.
Bogarts is more than they have now.
They can't really match that. 2014 was AJ Przinsky,
Oof.
an old Mike Napoli,
Oof.
Dustin Pedroia, Will Middlebrooks, rookie Xander Bogarts, Mike Karp. Shout out Mike Karp.
Oh.
Remember when they tried to make Grady Sizemore a thing?
Yeah, they almost made him the manager too.
And Daniel Nava. That's not great. You have Ortiz. Okay, you have Ortiz at DH, I guess. But
You won't find a bigger Daniel Nava guy than me either. I mean, the Grand Slam I still think about, but that's not a very good line.
fun player, not a good player.
No. I think
You
he was
had-
a 28-year-old rookie or something.
Yeah, you had 32-year-old Mike Napoli, probably 50-year-old AJ Przinsky at that point. Pedroia was good. Middlebrooks. Bogarts was not good as a rookie. Remember they tried playing him at third base, completely messed his game up mentally?
No, the Red Sox, they would do that to a kid?
Karp, Sizemore, Nava is an outfield.
Karp was like, that's a softball player. He was I would not have remembered Mike Karp if you didn't.
Did Darnell McDonald never make a Red Sox opening day lineup? I guess not. I thought there was 1 year he was up.
Yankees legend Darnell McDonald.
Yeah, I mean, before that, you've got representative. You go through the early 2000s, you have Manny. I'm not going to include a lineup that has Manny and Ortiz in this conversation.
Yeah.
2009, old Jason Varitek. Last year, Jason Varitek. Euclid. You do have very good Dustin Pedroia in 09. Last year of Mike Lowell, Jed Lowry, Jason Bay, Jacoby Ellsbury, J.D. Drew, David Ortiz. That's all right.
Jason Bay was fine.
It's just an old. That's an old team. It's very old. It's better than. What was it this year? How far have they strayed from this year? Narvaez, Contreras, Kiner Falefa, Durbin, Story, Anthony, Rafaela, Abreu, Duran. Yeah, it doesn't measure up.
Woof.
Let's ask Max Cerullo this. Worst Red Sox lineup since when? He'll join us next. Max Cerullo talk some Red Sox from the Boston Herald. Coming up next, it's Alex Barth in for Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe. You're listening to Joe.
Boston Globe, the Red Sox not considering firing Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow. They haven't even discussed it. We're already going to talk baseball tonight, and I want to talk about Breslow. This is perfect timing. We are joined by Mac Cerullo. He covers the Red Sox for the Boston Herald. Mac, thanks so much, especially for taking the time during this game here tonight.
Hey, yeah, no problem. How's it going, man?
I'm doing good. Let's just start again with the news of the night. Red Sox not considering firing Craig Breslow. Corner report. They're not even discussing it or have not discussed it to this point. As the team trails 3-1, going to go, assuming they can't come back here, 10 games under 500, 2 outs away. What's your reaction to that, and are you surprised?
I'm not surprised. I mean, they pretty much hitched their wagon to Breslow. Put all the they allowed him to fire the whole coaching staff basically, and for them to turn around less than 2 months later and to start talking about firing him too would be pretty. That would be something. So I'm not surprised. I mean, these things can change, and I suspect that if this team is still where they are now, a couple months from now, in early September, then yeah, I think maybe that's a point where I would think ownership might start entertaining those conversations. But it just doesn't seem like that it would be pretty wild for them to just turn around and to start looking to clean house so soon after making such a dramatic change already.
So does it worry you at all, or should they put weight into what would essentially be a lame duck GM running this trade deadline? Or if they're not going to fire him, do you think, should they have a conversation about extending him?
Well, I don't think they need to do either of those things right now. I mean, I think by making it clear, per se, that he's not, that's not something they're considering, then he's not a lame duck, right? So then that'll help him.
He's under contract
do his job
through the end of next year, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
So, right. So, the most important thing right now is they need to improve this roster, or perhaps they need to tear this roster down. Either one of those things are a lot easier to do if the guy in charge is empowered to do his job. And more importantly, the other teams can't use that against him somehow. So I think that I think to the casual fan, why wouldn't they be considering firing him? And it wouldn't. It is ultimately something that could happen if things don't turn around. But we're talking. It's the first week of June. This time last year, the team wasn't in such a different spot, and they ultimately did make the playoffs. So we'll see. But I certainly wouldn't say Craig's job is secure. But I'm not surprised that this is sort of where we're at right now.
Which way should they go? Should they improve this roster as it exists right now, or should they tear it down and start to look ahead to 2027?
Well, if we get to the trade deadline and they're 9-10 games under 500, they should sell. Any talk otherwise would be foolish. We've been through this before. In 2022, they should have sold, and they kind of tried to play it both ways, and you end up finishing the season, you miss the playoffs, and you finish over the luxury tax, and that kind of has some negative effects with draft pick positioning and stuff like that. This isn't if this is what the team is, and getting Roman Anthony, getting Garrett Crochet back, getting the team healthy, if that doesn't help, they should sell. That being said, if things do turn around and we get to mid-July and they are close to 500, if they're in playoff position, then sure, go ahead and buy. Why not? Give yourself a chance. But certainly where they're at now, which is a game just went final, they're 10 games under 500, I believe. That's no bueno. Yep. They gotta, that is the responsible thing to do then would be to sell.
27-37 with that last out. Red Sox lose 3-1 to the Tampa Bay Rays. Again, we're talking to Max Cerullo. He covers the Red Sox for the Boston Herald. Mac, you mentioned in there, and I think it is an important pivot point, Roman Anthony, Garrett Crochet, they are objectively, to be fair, they've been playing here without their best hitter and without their best pitcher. Now, neither of those guys were playing particularly well before they got hurt, but those guys have been out for an extended period of time. At the end of it, it's going to be 60 days for Crochet. They moved him on to 6 days, so he can't come back till the end of June. Roman Anthony was shut down last we heard, not swinging. When should Red Sox fans expect these two guys back, and do you think they'll be back in time to help that stretch that will ultimately determine the deadline?
I think so. I mean, Crochet, I expect that he putting him on the 60-day was basically a paper move. He wasn't going to be back until the end of the month anyway, and he hasn't experienced any setbacks. And with Roman, look, I think everybody expected him back sooner. Hand injuries are weird. He's a hit. He's trying to hit a baseball. Guys are throwing 100 miles an hour. Let me tell you, not easy, not fun to do that when your hand hurts, right? So he'll be back when he's back. I don't think it's going to drag on too much longer. I would certainly be surprised if we're in July and he still hasn't returned. That would, unless there's some kind of setback that, we have it's not on the radar necessarily right now. But yeah, I mean, listen, like Roman Anthony was supposed to. Let me rephrase. Roman Anthony, the best version of this team, this guy's playing like a star. And up to this point, he has been injured. And before that, he hadn't been very good by his standards. And so that's a big reason why this team isn't hitting very well, because you take, theoretically, the guy who's supposed to be the best hitter in your lineup and then take him out and take out his production. And this is what you get, right? And the problem is that 3 or 4 other guys are sort of in the same boat. So if they can get him back, if they can get him healthy, and if he can produce at the level we've already seen him play in the majors, the guy who was hit 6 home runs in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks at the end of August last year before he, had the oblique injury, that's a game changer. So we'll see if that version of Roman Anthony comes back by July and he produces, that could change some things. We'll just have to see.
Again, we're talking to Max Cerullo, covers the Red Sox for the Boston Herald. How about internal help? Sounds like maybe we'll see Jake Bennett, pitching prospect, could be up soon. They got a couple other guys there in Worcester who maybe are call-ups this year. Maybe guys who have been up. I know Christian Campbell's banged up right now, but just in general, is there internal help, do you think, outside of injuries that could come and boost this team?
As far as internal help that could actually boost this team, I think Romy Gonzalez is probably the one who could really make the biggest difference. I mean, he's probably still a couple of weeks away, maybe, but you're talking about a right-handed bat who plays in, who's an infielder, who really, really made a big difference on last year's team. That guy being without him has really hurt this team in ways that I don't think a lot of fans fully appreciate. So if they can get him back, that's going to help a lot. In terms of prospects, not really. I think we've, over the last 5 years, gotten a little too accustomed to the whole, the prospects are coming thing. That's not really the case anymore. Look, the prospects are here. The cavalry has already arrived. And, if you're expecting Franklin Arias to come in and be the savior, look, he's a phenomenal talent. He's very good. I don't think anybody should be holding their breath about Franklin Arias being the missing piece on a championship team. And, maybe if we see a really dramatic turnaround, this team actually goes into September in, a playoff chase and actually has a chance to make a difference, then that's maybe a situation where a guy like Franklin Arias could, be an actual difference maker, because now he could be a key role player, not too dissimilar from Peyton Tolley last year, where he, comes up and really helps, and Connolly Early too. They kind of helps get them over the finish line and into the playoffs. But as far as internal help goes, it's Roman, it's Crochet, that Whitlock will probably be back tomorrow, and Romy. I think those are the 4 you want to see get back and healthy. And that version of the Red Sox at close to full strength, that, maybe there's something that they might be able to turn things around and get a little bit more of a run than what we've seen so far recently.
All right, Mac, I know you got to probably run and go do post-game stuff, but thanks for helping us out, filling in the pieces. He's Max Cerullo, covers the Red Sox for the Boston Herald. You can find him on social media at Max Cerullo. Mac, thanks for joining us.
Of course, no problem.
So not a surprise to at least one Red Sox writer that Craig Breslow getting this piece of support here through a report, through ownership, and maybe empowering him without committing. He's our GM, he's our guy, but still not going to sign that contract extension. Before we hit the break, Eric in Reading does have something to say to the Red Sox media. Eric, what's up?
The Red Sox are especially repulsive because they ran an almost decade-long media psyop bull poo campaign on us. They said Roman was going to be Babe Ruth, dud. Marcelo Meyer could replace Xander, dud. Duran was supposed to be elite. Not bad. Bale was okay for a little while, but they've been lying and BSing us about Roman and Marcelo, and they should be viciously ripped for that. Thank you. Bye.
It feels a little strong. Roman Anthony was really good last year. He didn't play a ton. He got hurt at the end of the year. He was a good player last year. For a 21-year-old, came up in the middle of the season, he was good. Was not that way to start this year. And pitchers now have a book on him. And, that adrenaline rush bump, whatever high coming off of getting called up to the big leagues is gone. A talented player who gets derailed by injuries is not a player who is not talented. So he could be a very good player and be injury prone. And that might be what he is. Same with Marcelo Meyer. I think there's a lot more evidence that is what Marcelo Meyer is. I don't put Anthony not panning out, at least at this point, on a lack of talent. I saw what he could do last year. I don't think that just goes away. He does have to get his hand right. And this is taking a lot longer than the Red Sox first told us, and that's not fair to the kid. And that's why they shouldn't have come out with a timeline when they didn't know what they were dealing with. And they clearly didn't know what they were dealing with because we've heard like 3 different diagnoses from them until Anthony told us himself. We got to get a check of the headlines. We come back. We pushed back in or out, but it is my favorite segment to do when I'm hosting the show. We might go in or out musings back to back here, Skaz. They're both coming up. I got a college football take I want to give you. We're going to bring intern Riley in the studio. She's going to quiz me as well. I got an hour and a half to go, 90 minutes, plus your call, 617-779-0985. It's Alex Barth in on The Joe Show. A little bit late because we got some Red Sox breaking news. Better late than never. I think we got some good ones tonight. Skaz, what do you got for me?
Yes, Barth, welcome. I feel like it's been a little bit.
It's been a minute.
June 8th already. Craig Breslow safe. Alex
Out.
Barth in or out? Let's start with some NBA Finals. We mentioned it briefly in the headlines tonight. A close one so far. Halftime rapidly approaching. And, it's not the Super Bowl, but apparently there is some halftime entertainment tonight. Alex Barth, are you in or out on one Cardi B performing at halftime of NBA Finals Game 3?
She's from New York, right?
That I don't know, but maybe.
Yeah, she is. In. Sure. I'm not like, I could take her or leave it with Cardi B.
I'm a fan.
What?
I'm a fan.
I mean, yeah, no, she's got good music. In. I like that she's local. I like they got a local artist. That's what I think they should do for the Super Bowl.
Do you think Stephon Diggs is there?
Oh, it might be. I am also in on T-Pain doing a pregame concert for the next Stanley Cup game. I love T-Pain.
T-Pain, wildly talented.
Insanely talented. Have you ever heard his cover album?
Yeah, phenomenal.
Under the Covers?
Yes.
His cover of War Pigs is unbelievable. Yeah. He also does Don't Stop Believing.
In on T-Pain.
I am in on few things more than T-Pain. T-Pain is as two gentlemen who grew up listening to hip hop music in like the mid to late 2000s.
His best works, yes.
It's every song. Every song featured T-Pain. And then did you ever watch during COVID, him and Lil Jon did one. Lil Jon,
yes,
which is one of the first verses.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just banger after banger after banger. So I forget where this started, but in on T-Pain.
In. All right, Alex Barth, we're kind of sticking with an NBA Finals theme here. Earlier today on one of those ESPN shows that Stephen A. Smith is on, Stephen A. Smith says he doesn't want a championship ring from the Knicks if they win a title. Alex Barth, should Stephen A. get a ring? Are you in or out?
What? No. Why? No, out. And he's going to...
I think that's very big of Stephen A. to say.
Well, so that's the thing. I don't want to say in on him saying he doesn't get a ring because why is he saying it? Nobody asked. And I like Stephen A. I do. I actually genuinely enjoy listening to Stephen A. Talk about everything, not just sports. Like that bit he does where people tweet random questions at him. And he talks about like Pokemon and stuff and Cars.
A good Fortnite.
The movie Cars. Excellent. I like Stephen A. Why the hell would you get a ring? I hope if they start giving like Spike Lee a ring and Chalamet a ring, that becomes so fraudulent. No. You play for the team, you work for the team, you get a ring. Out. No. Stupid.
Yeah, I'm out on that one as well.
I thought he was more humble than that. And I know I'm saying Stephen A's humble. I'm dead serious. I did not think Stephen A was that kind of like cocky.
No, he'd never make it about himself. Never.
Not now. I'm legitimately surprised in that sense he would. Now, I could see him going to the parade, like being in the parade.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I more would expect from him. I didn't think he'd be interested in a ring. I thought we'd get like, is Stephen A going to be in the Knicks parade? I'd be a little more willing to put him in the parade just because I think the content would be outstanding. We don't get anything out of Stephen A getting a ring. Stephen A in the parade, we'd get some fun videos.
All right, Barth. Well, from the NBA Finals, a little back in time to the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals had two big guests in attendance, Taylor Swift and her fiancé, Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, were in attendance, and the courtside seat that Taylor Swift sat in during Game 3 is now up for auction.
The physical chair?
The physical seat that Miss Swift sat in is now up for auction. Alex Barth, are you in or out on Taylor Swift's seat going up for auction?
I'm out. That's weird on a number of levels. What do we know what it's going for?
Give me one more. Eastern Conference Finals Game 3 courtside chair used by one of the biggest music artists in the world and a 14-time Grammy Award winner, reading right from therealist.com item website. The current bid is $6,500 with 5 days remaining.
I thought it was going to be more than that.
5 days remaining, but it is currently up to $6,500.
Yeah, I'm out. That feels like a red flag, again, for multiple reasons. I'm also out on them getting married at Madison Square Garden.
I believe that's fake, but
is it? Okay.
I believe so, but I don't know for sure.
The Sophie Weller, who you guys had on last week, right?
Yes, we did.
Made her Sports Hub debut. She is the resident Patriots beat Swiftie, and I was texting her about it, and she said I don't think she wasn't sure. On the Taylor Swift stuff, I go with Sophie. So I'll have to follow up with her, but out on both of those things.
Well, from something Alex Barth may not be an expert on to something Alex Barth is, Tom Brady back in the news today.
I don't care what's coming up.
Well, Barth, it's a new product.
Okay.
It's a coconut water. Would you like to guess the name of Tom Brady's
I already saw it, so I'll let you do the honors.
I believe it's called is the good what, Barth, is it?
Good nut.
The good nut from Tom Brady.
I think it's
Barth.
the good nut. You're doing just Facebook.
Just Facebook.
Just good nut. Do you want some good nut, Skaz?
I'm out on coconut water, so this is going to be a hard out for me on Tom Brady's good nut coconut water.
I'm not a big coconut guy, but if Tom Brady himself is endorsing it, I might have to at least try it. In on trying the good nut. I don't know if I'll stick with it, but I'll try it because of Tom Brady.
You think that was his idea?
It might have been Gronk.
Okay, yeah.
He could have gone to Gronk for it.
I could see that. From Tom Brady to another guy who's constantly doing weird things on the internet, who also has kind of a strange face these days, Mr. Beast, Barth. This was unknown to me, but apparently there are internet rumors out there that Mr. Beast could be in talks to buy the Los Angeles Angels. Alex Barth, are we in or out on Mr. Beast becoming an owner of an MLB team?
I'm out because he's going to do weird gimmicks with it, and it's going to hurt the sport. Then again, the Angels are a weird gimmick as they exist. They had Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani and didn't win anything. That in itself is a beast challenge right there. Did you see what they put on the video board for Ohtani when he was playing there the other day?
No, I don't think so.
It said, because like sometimes they'll do fun facts for players. It'll be like a stat or something about them. For Ohtani, it just said used to work here.
I mean, true.
And Angels say, no, it is true. I am out. He'll turn it gimmicky, although the Angels are gimmicky. What was Tungsten Armo Doyle, right? The Angels are one big gimmick. Although Mike Trout, sneaky, one of the most overrated players in sports. Still good. Sneaky, very overrated.
So you do not want Mike Trout on the Red Sox?
Oh, he's much better than what they have. Again, still very good, still Hall of Famer. People talk about him as the best of all time. No, he was the best player in the league during a period where the league had the least amount of talent. I'll take Griffey over him any day.
All right, Barth, it is World Cup week. The World Cup starts this Thursday. The first game happening at Boston Stadium on Saturday night, 9 o'clock, I believe. Alex Barth, are you in or out on this upcoming World Cup and all that comes with it?
Well, all that comes with it, when you talk about the traffic having to get around, out on that. I do genuinely enjoy the World Cup. I'm not a big soccer guy, but I just enjoy, any sport, anything really, high-level competition. You get the best at something doing it. And I think it's an enjoyable watch. So I'm in on the World Cup. All of fun. Who knows how good the U.S. will be. But I won't be anywhere near Foxborough for it. I'm out on that whole thing because it's just... I don't like traffic to begin with. Traffic is my least favorite thing. To go watch a soccer game, I'll watch it home. I'll tell you, I was ready if the U.S... Because the U.S. beat Canada for the gold medal in hockey in the Olympics. And then we had that run in the World Baseball Classic. If the U.S. had run the World Baseball Classic, I was ready to get super irrational about U.S. soccer. And then the baseball team lost to Venezuela, so that grounded me. But, I was ready to go all in. And I know they'll probably lose, but I think they have a bunch of guys hurt, and I know the roster construction is questionable and all that. But I was ready to be all in on U.S. soccer.
Yeah, they'll be okay.
Take it out of the group stage.
If they don't, it's a massive.
I know their group sucks, right?
Yes, their group stinks.
All right, just give me one competitive game.
Yeah, they should get out of the group and hopefully win one game.
Cool.
That would be.
I would take that. I think because their first elimination game would be July 3rd, right?
Yes, and there are some other storylines that who the possible opponent
That's
could
true.
be and where it could be.
But just
very interesting.
4th of July weekend, U.S. soccer playing, like that would be cool. That'd be fun.
Very in on that. All right, Barth, to the movies we go. This one I saw earlier today. Hugh Jackman has been cast as Long John Silver in a new Treasure Island film. Alex Barth, are we in or out on Hugh Jackman as Long John Silver in Treasure Island?
I don't think I ever saw or read the original Treasure Island.
I never saw it, but I feel like this was a book I had to read as a youth, and it was fine. I also, Lord of the Flies apparently is now a movie, but I feel like that feels like a horrible story to make into a movie, but maybe that's why it's good.
I would have to see who's in it. It was a TV series. You
read that, right? Lord of the Flies?
Yeah, it's a TV series now. I remember doing Lord of the Flies, which I didn't like, Of Mice and Men, which I didn't like, Catcher in the Rye, which I liked, and Great Gatsby, which I really liked. We had to do for a project one year. I remember it was one of my favorite projects I ever did in English class. We had to take one of the books we read and like cast the movie. And so I did the Great Gatsby, and it was like right before the Leo Great Gatsby came out. So I'm trying to remember what my cast was.
I'm not an F. Scott Fitzgerald guy.
What did Scott Fitzgerald do to you?
I don't need to know about the moldings of every room that people are walking into.
That was a Ted reference. Come on, that go right over your head.
Yeah, honestly.
What did Scott Fitzgerald do to you? I'm with you. I was always the kid in English class where when the teacher was like, "And what does the yellow car represent?" I don't know. The car is yellow.
Yeah.
Why does it have to mean something?
Keep it simple, please.
Right. Well, the book was this and that. The table had strong legs. Okay. I don't understand why. I'm not good at subtext. I don't like subtext. I guess I'm out on Hugh Jackman. What was it? Treasure Island?
Yes.
I'll say out just because I want new movies and new ideas and not just re-racking stuff. So give me an original. Give me an original concept. I know there's not many of those left, but don't run back a book from 1883.
All right, another World Cup one here. Massachusetts Senate approves outdoor drinking and 3 a.m. last call option with the World Cup heading to the area. Alex Barth, are you in or out?
In, and I think they're running the tea late, too.
I believe I saw until 4 a.m.
So I remember when I had a buddy who moved here and we were out. I think this was before it would have been just before the pandemic. And we took the train in and having to explain to him how we had to leave because the train shut off before the bars closed and he couldn't comprehend that. So in on all outdoor drinking, yes, love a good rooftop bar. Love a good rooftop bar or a good porch. You ever go to Audubon down by Fenway? They got a great outdoor porch area. So in on that, in on later hours. I probably can't get there anymore. I bet I could. If I set my mind to it, I could. And in on the T running later, which I don't think was in there, but another good one. Shout out the T.
All right, Barth, we can wrap up with this one tonight. Right. Sports one. Sam Presti earlier today said SGA is battling against 6 people. He's got 5 defenders every time he's on the floor, and the 6th is social media. Alex Barth, are we in or out on SGA?
Ow. What does that mean?
Being attacked by the social media machine, as Sam Presti called it.
If anything, it's 6-on-6, because, okay, fine, he's against social media, but he has the refs. Skaz, are you out there posting up SGA?
I am not, no.
Well, you're not really on social media, so that's fair.
Not really.
What does that mean? If he's so locked in on social media that it's impacting his game, first of all, wouldn't he change his game because everybody's ripping him for flopping and he's a flop artist? Wouldn't we see some impact of that? And 2, well, that just speaks to him as a player. Like, you got to get your head out of your phone. You got to be able to show up and play. Weird comment from Sam Presti. It maybe opens the door to people just getting after SGA a little more online.
All right, Barth, that is going to wrap up a Monday night edition.
All right. Good stuff, Skaz. We got to take a break. We'll come back. There's something we didn't hit on in there that I want to talk about in the world of college football and how it could impact the NFL and how it nearly impacted the Patriots. We'll do that next. It's Alex Barth in for Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way.
Everybody put it on. Raised a ton of money.
Who was in your group, Barth?
Special Olympics, Massachusetts. It was myself. So the cart was me and Tim McCone.
That's a great cart.
And then we had Kevin Majori and Jim Louth with us.
That's a great.
It was a
group
time.
right there.
It was
How was Kevin Majori? I would say the
Unbelievable.
best golfer in the group.
Excellent. Yeah. Louth got a hold of some though.
Hey, that's what I like to hear.
Louth was when he hit it with the driver, and you know he had some like older Cobra driver. When he got a hold of it, it sounded like a metal bat, like a metal baseball bat, but not like any metal bat. Remember that old Easton Nomar Garcia Parra bat?
Yes.
Yeah, you heard it over the whole course. He got a hold of a couple. McCone had a couple good drives. I had a few. I wish I'd done better in the tee box on one in front of Zolak and Bertrand. I will have to live with that for the rest of my life. The only shot I chunked all day.
Of course.
Picked the worst time for it, naturally. We got to get you out there next year.
Yeah, I'd like, make an appearance. Was the great Howie Sylvester there? Did he make an appearance?
If he was, I did not see him. I don't believe he was there. Well, we used to do the Producers Open.
Yes, that's right.
Which was like me, you, McCarthy, Stenberg, Jeremy, Howie.
Dan Lifshatz would be
Lifshatz
there.
would
Jeff
go.
Williams.
Jeff Williams.
Stenberg.
Did Jim Murray go to that? I think he went one year.
Maybe.
That was a good time.
We got to get that back.
We got to get that set back up.
If anybody wants to help us out, feel free.
617
Joe Murray would say
779-0985. You can call in on the.
I'll give you the hotline number for that.
Go for it. I actually don't know what it is. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, but I can't say.
Oh, we can't? Oh, okay.
I'm not
I
giving
see.
that out.
I
The
see.
animals that would call that.
Contact one of us on social media, and we would be glad to go play at your course. Yeah, we got to get you out there next year, though. We got to get like an old, because I remember I was actually talking to Jim about this today and some of the street teamers who were there. That used to be my favorite street team event to work back in our street team days.
I remember distinctly working it one year with Kevin, and they put us in a tee box that they had a car in the tee box, and it was just in the middle of the course, and there were balls flying around that car all day.
Oh, somebody almost hit the Toyota pickup today.
No, of course.
Not hit it. So it was you hit the hole in one, you get the car. Not almost hit the hole in one, they almost hit the truck.
Yes, that's exactly the situation we were in.
There wasn't a car for my hole, but I used to have the hole in one win a Jeep hole.
Yes.
And I was like way in the back of the course. This is when it was in Atkinson. And I remember I would stand back there and there's nobody around. You couldn't see any other holes from where I were. You couldn't see another green. You couldn't see another tee box. So I didn't know when people were coming. I didn't know how it was going. So I wanted to golf. So I would just stand there in the tee box and go through my swing. And I remember one time, it would have been Gosher and Beers came up, and Beers sees me doing my swing. He goes, "You want to hit?" I'm like, "No, I couldn't. I'm working. I'm just goofing off. Don't worry about it." He goes, No, please." So I'm like, "No, I really don't want to." He eventually gives me his club, and I chunked his 7-iron. What we're learning today is I'm not good under pressure. But I used to love it. You had to get up a little early, but we'd go up to Atkinson. I had just started working here on the street team.
Some good auctions at the end of those
good
events,
auctions, good networking. I got to like meet all the on-air people, which I never really got to talk to them. I got to be outside all day. It was just a good event. But we got to do like we should have like a street team reunion team in the golf tournament. Me, you, Kevin. Who else was street team?
Oh, we'll get street team Joe, I guess. I guess we can get
current
him out
street
there.
teamer.
Not anymore. On the radio
that's
side
right.
now, street team Joe.
Street team Joe golf?
Who knows?
Fair.
Joe Murray grew up on a golf course, doesn't really golf. Get him out there.
We must have no, McCarthy.
Stenberg's a big golfer.
Stenberg, yeah.
He's sneaky our best golfer, Matthew Stenberg.
Stenberg is excellent. Stenberg is an unbelievable golfer. I love playing with Stenberg. I learn something every time just by watching him. But it was a good tournament. It was a good day. Raised a lot of money. I don't even know how much they did at the auction. I had to leave early and the auction's usually kind of fun.
Yeah, there were some interesting ones back in the day.
Because nobody really knows how it works. But I had to leave early because I had to get ready to come here and do the show. But Felger threw a club. We're going to get to that.
Yeah, I would like some information on that.
I not so much on Felger throwing the club. I did not see that. I was not aware of that. He did tell me after the tournament he did not play well. But I have a take on McCarthy trying to sniff out who threw the club. We're going to do that in musings coming up. There was one other thing I wanted to get to, though. I know, and here's the sound of a million radios being turned off because I'm going to talk about college football in New England, but it's relevant. Just give me 45 seconds. Give me 45 seconds on this. And if you're not interested, 617-779-0985, you can call me and yell at me for wasting your time. You heard me mention the headlines a couple times. Brendan Sorsby was the quarterback at Texas Tech, and he was supposed to go back this year. He projected first-round pick. He ended up, the NCAA tried to hit him with a permanent ban for betting on sports, for betting on his own games. He bet on his team when he was at Indiana. This is a few years ago. This was before Indiana was good. He's since went to treatment. It was an addiction, which was part of the way he is actively, what's the term? Arguing against, objecting to this ban, saying they can't ban him for a medical issue. And so he got an injunction today from a judge in Texas who happens to be a Texas Tech alum.
No.
Right? College football is so messy. It's so good. So it's not. Now, look, like, it's going to go to court later and be settled, but they basically said, we can't ban him. Like, they gave him a stay because, well, there could be irreparable damage. Sorsby, if he was not allowed to play, was probably going to go to the supplemental draft. And it was going to be fascinating to me if he did. Adam Schefter had reported that there might be a second-round bid. So the way the supplemental draft works, if you don't know, players who, for whatever reason, were not in the regular draft, but need to get to the NFL. So Terrell Pryor did this a couple years ago. He got banned or he got suspended because of the tattoo thing. It's basically late entry into the NFL. But it's not like the waiver wire directly. They break the teams up into 3 pods. It's teams with less than 6 wins. I think it's 6 wins. Teams with more than 6 wins who are not in the playoffs, and then playoff teams. And then they're shuffled randomly within that pod in terms of the order. And then you put in a bid. So I would bid a second-round pick on this player, a third-round pick. Whoever has the highest bid gets the player, and then the tiebreaker is that order depending on those pods. The reporting was there would have been a second-round bid on Sorsby, who is currently projected to be a first-round pick next year. I was wondering if the Jets were going to bid a first-round pick. They have 3. So when you bid that pick, if you get the player, you lose it in the next draft. So, for instance, the Browns bid, I believe it was a second-round pick on Terrell Pryor. They did not have a second-round pick that year. It just goes away. Nobody gets it. It just goes away. There's one less pick. It would have been fascinating to me to see the Jets bid potentially a first-round pick on Brendan Sorsby. That would have been really interesting to see how that played out. And obviously him being in the AFC East would have been interesting. It's also just wild that he's going to play. And somebody brought up a good point today. If you're a college team that wants to bring a player back with tricky eligibility, and that could even mean they've played professionally, do it, sign them, get sued by the NCAA, and then apply for the injunction. And you're at least going to have them for a little bit. College sports is in a weird spot right now. A very weird spot. But it's going to, and Sorsby, look, part of his pitch was he'll still serve a 2-game suspension. That was his oh, no, I'll still be accountable. I shouldn't lose the whole season, but I'll still be accountable. Texas Tech's first 2 games are against Abilene Christian and a really bad Oregon State team. He'll be back for Houston week 3. Skaz, you in or out on Sorsby playing this year? Because there's been mixed. I feel like reactions to this.
I just worry about the precedent it sets. Like, where does it end? Like, I know it's in jest, but you see Tyrann Mathieu tweeting.
Yeah.
Can I go back to LSU?
Well, you got to remember, this isn't the final ruling. They got an injunction, and now you're getting into legal stuff, but
I guess where I'm coming from is I'm more of an NBA guy myself.
Well, the NBA is much more of a mess than
there
this.
are guys that play in the NBA and then go back to college. And I can't see that happening in the NFL, but I mean, wouldn't we have said that about the NBA a couple of years ago? There are guys that have been on legit active rosters, played NBA minutes, and gone back and signed with college teams.
This one's a little different because it's not the eligibility has nothing to do with professional versus college and that line being blurred by NIL. He was suspended for betting, and now he's back. The other interesting fallout, you've already had, I think it's Georgia and Nebraska, have said they will not play Texas Tech in any sports if Sorsby is allowed to play if the school allows Sorsby to play, which I think they've said they will. So the other schools are really pissed. And you know what? The other schools are going to be really pissed until this benefits them. Actually, hang on. This just in from Pete Thamel. Big Ten officials to discuss a league-wide mandate to not play Texas Tech. So is every school just going to blackball Texas Tech? Blacklist Texas Tech?
Kind of a funny move. That's a very college football.
No, they're saying they won't do it in any sport.
Yes, but I'm just saying, like, the fact that it stems from college football is very on brand.
Yeah, but so schools are just going to blacklist Texas Tech now, which is kind of... And now if you're Texas Tech, do you tell Sorsby he can't play? I believe the deadline for the supplemental draft is June 30th, June 22nd. So he's got to figure out by June 22nd if Texas Tech's going to let him play or not. Because if not, he's going to the league. And then we'll see where he nets out. But it's an interesting saga. If you're into that kind of thing, go for it. I wonder how the Pat McAfee show broadcast of the NBA Finals is going. I can't imagine. That's an odd choice. That's an odd decision. Speaking of, let's get to musings. I have to call out somebody at the station. I was wrong today. I was hurt today by somebody at the station I considered a friend. And I'm going to air that grievance publicly. We will do that next. It's Alex Barth in for Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
Man.
A fellow Ithaca College alum. And I feel the need to respond. So again, today was the Who's Your Caddy Classic. Great time. We all had a good time. Somebody not so much. As you heard on Felger and Maz, Matt McCarthy break the news. There was a club thrown at the tournament today. Now, it ended up being Mike Felger. But before that information was revealed, McCarthy and Hurley were going through suspects.
I will play it for you, Barth, as it happened.
I was going to say, who did McCarthy think threw the club?
Don't know who it is yet, but I did hear a member of our team at 98.5 The Sports Hub may have thrown a club today at the Who's Your Caddy Classic. That's the rumor and innuendo going around Brookmeadow Country Club right now. It's my understanding.
A member of the Sports Hub staff threw a golf club.
Yes, that's correct.
Do you have more details?
Apparently, somebody hit a bad shot. They got very frustrated and threw a club.
So my first guess would be it would be mild-mannered Kevin Majori.
I would think so, too.
Confirm Kevin did not.
Serious.
Not a bad guess.
I played with Kevin, and he had every right to, because he carried our group, and we let him down way more than he let us down. He had every right to, but it was not Kevin Majori. Can confirm.
Because, we're doing follow-up questions here. We're saying, what's the follow-up? Well, the follow-up,
the details.
My follow-up to you, Anthony Maserati made a speech this morning?
Yes.
Saying respect the golf course.
Respect
so
the
I'm guessing it wasn't him throwing the club then.
I don't know who it is. I just know it's a member of our team.
I
was told a Sports Hub member threw a club. We can't be doing that. We can't be throwing clubs out there.
So who's emotional? Jim Murray is very emotional.
Very emotional. I've never seen Jim throw a club, though, and I've golfed with Jim a million times.
So hang on. Pause it right there. Yeah. Let it be known, Matt McCarthy has golfed with somebody multiple times and knows their habits and tendencies.
And goes out of his way to say they've never.
And has pointed that out. Let it be known that Matt McCarthy said that. Continue.
Yeah.
I would say that because Felger isn't here, that Felger is a potential candidate for this because he can't take his anger and frustrations if he had a bad day on the golf course
out on the
show,
which is what he normally does.
Side note,
the golf course.
Jimmy Stewart, instinctive as always. Good job, Jimmy. Continue.
Always. That's a producer that knows his talent right there.
Another bad round today. He can't yell at the audience. He can't yell at the callers. He can't yell at people like you, McCarthy.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's got to take his frustrations out on the golf club.
Ooh, I know who it is. It's Barth.
What?
After taking a beating from Felger on Friday.
It's always the ones you
50-50.
least expect.
Barth.
It's the quiet ones you better watch out for.
Those are the people who are going to snap eventually. I mean, Barth comes in here. Felger beats him up for 4 hours. Barth leaves with a smile because he's just young and kind and sweet, and he's the nicest person you'll ever meet. And he goes out on the golf course today and starts throwing clubs. Guaranteed. Yeah, I'm going to put leader in the clubhouse, maybe.
It's a classic whodunit right now.
So we are a one-source show here, right?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Quote, text from somebody who was there. Quote, it was Felger, unquote.
There we go. Thank you. McCarthy goes out of his way to drag my name through the mud. And what hurt the most is not that I was accused. It's not that I'm a great golfer. I am susceptible to the kind of shots, certainly, that would make one throw a club. What hurt, I've known Matt McCarthy,
Gotta be a decade, right?
14 years now. I met Matt McCarthy my second day at Ithaca College.
Almost as old as our intern.
That's upsetting. But I have played many a round of golf with Matt McCarthy. I would like to think, just like Jim Murray, who apparently gets to occupy this kind of space in Matt McCarthy's brain, I am not a club thrower. I am a club slammer. And I will own that, and that's fine. I am not a club thrower, and I did not like that accusation, not because it insinuated anything, but because I thought me and McCarthy were better friends than that.
Barth, I would like to go even further as a gentleman who's played golf with both you and McCarthy on numerous occasions. If I had to guess who would be more susceptible to throw a golf club, I would lean strongly in the direction of one Matt McCarthy.
I don't know if I've ever seen McCarthy throw a club. I've seen him slam a club.
Never seen him throw a club.
I've seen him slam a club.
I've seen Barth slam a club, but McCarthy runs a little hot.
Yeah, and it happens.
Complimentary, I say that.
Not every round, but occasionally I slam my club.
Sometimes you got to.
I had a little club slam today. Not a big one. I had a little club slam today. That was it. It was after I chunked that drive on one.
That'll do it.
In front of the TV camera. Not ideal.
You think we'll be seeing that tomorrow?
I hope not. But, yeah, I've thrown a golf club once, but it was in celebration. I think that's different. I threw my putter because I hit a long putt, and I wanted to, bat flip. I thought that would be cool. It was at, some cheap course.
I've seen some accidental club throws,
oh, yeah.
The extension too long. Saw a buddy toss a brand new 5-wood into a lake by accident.
I saw somebody do that at Topgolf off one of the upper decks. That was a scene. But let it be known. I thought Matt McCarthy knew me well enough. I thought we were friends. I guess not. I am not a club thrower. I'm a club slammer. Wait, which one are you, Skaz? Are you a club thrower or a club slammer?
Back when I was young, I don't really get too angry on the
Okay, all right. I mean, we're all friends here. Come on.
No, I don't really, but I'm more of
I don't really either, honestly. You've played with me. I'm just happy to be out there.
I'm more of throw the ball in the woods and get a new ball guy. That's kind of my get it out of the system. I'll just leave a ball, chuck it in the lake or something.
The fact that the shots that make you that angry, the ball is findable to throw, speak to the different levels of golfer than we are. If I am upset that I'm going to do something with my club, it is because the ball is no longer available. If the ball is still in play, I'm happy.
So, yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
So,
maybe I'll adopt that attitude, Barth.
There's layers to this. But that's my musing. Matt McCarthy. I clearly need to play more golf with McCarthy. You came with us a few weeks ago.
Were we over Norton over there?
Norton.
Not a bad little track, little Sunday afternoon.
There were no club slams that day. I played well that day. We all played well that day. No club slams.
Zero club slams. If I had to guess, Felger would have been near the top. I think, and this probably, I think I probably would have guessed Big Jim, and that's not fair to him, but I think that would have been my guess.
Yeah. Who else would I have guessed?
I can't see McCone's too mild-mannered. I can't see.
No, McCone got frustrated after a couple shots, but it was quick and it was over and he handled it. Again, Kevin had every right to. There was one where he hit a great drive. We got within 60 yards on a par 4 of the green and still parred because we just couldn't. Every chip was short today. Not just me, everybody in the group.
There's a couple people in our chat suggesting they thought it might be Dondero, but I don't think Mark was there.
Mark did not play, but I could see that. I think he's petitioning to play in the future, so down the road, keep that in mind.
I would like to see that.
Not Dondero. No, it was Felger. If you didn't hear it at the end there, it was Felger through the club.
Confirmed.
Yes. When I talked to him, I did not see it. I have no idea what happened. I didn't know this until I heard them talking about it on the radio earlier. I'm just sitting at home waiting, getting ready for the show, waiting to come in. All of a sudden, I hear them going, they're not going to say me. My whole bit here is I'm just dumb and happy. Hey, everything's good. Wee, woo. I'm not the guy you'd expect to throw a club.
No.
But apparently that makes me the top suspect for Matt McCarthy.
They named Kevin Majori right away.
Yeah, and I was kind of offended for Kevin, too. Kevin's not hitting shots that are bad enough worth throwing a club.
No, that's very true.
He was dialed in. He was talking about I played the last 4 days, so I'm sore.
Now, what a terrible time.
Right, I know. That's tough. Well, then he played great. It was a fun day, though. It was a fun day, even though Matt McCarthy tried to take that away from me. So, Matt, you're on the clock. 617-779-0985. When we come back, we're going to bring intern Riley in here. Skaz gave her some homework, an assignment before the show. I don't even totally understand what this segment is, and I don't think she does. I think this is Skaz just trying to
kill 20 minutes, Bob.
All right, fair enough. You said it, not me. No, this will be fun. Intern Riley's going to come in here and quiz me. We'll do that next after these headlines. It's Alex Barth in for Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
job creator. That's goodwill.org. Around here, we call them the Joe Murray Pre-Party. It's Felger and Maz afternoons right now. Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
All right, back here on the Joe Show. No Joe, it's Alex Barth. And tonight, can I get some help from intern Riley? So Skaz had her write down questions for me.
Yes. So basically, the prompt was Riley is our new intern. She just started, 2 weeks ago, Riley?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Been sick for the entire time. But Riley is our new intern, and she slightly unfamiliar with Alex Barth. We're introducing her to all the staff, so I told her that Alex Barth was our Patriots and draft expert here at the Hub, so she has come up with some Patriots questions and maybe some non-sports questions as well. So, Riley, I will give you the floor.
Okay, I'm going to start off with, I would say this is a heater.
Okay.
I've talked about this a lot with friends and family. Do you think Bill Belichick ruined Mac Jones?
Yeah. Yeah, I've said that. Matt Patricia, as the offense coordinator, is not an answer. They did not upgrade the talent around him. Ultimately worked out for him, and maybe he didn't have the ceiling that it wouldn't have mattered either way, and they would have ended up just spinning their tires. But yeah, he did that kid no favors.
Yeah, I just feel like there was a bad taste left in the mouth, and you could see it. Their relationship just fizzled out there by the end. It was a tough watch, I would have to say. My next question, I'm going to stay on the Bill Belichick train.
Okay.
If we had fired Bill Belichick instead of letting Tom Brady walk, how many more Super Bowls would Tom Brady have won with the New England Patriots?
So do they just go to Gerard Mayo earlier?
Ooh.
Do they go to Josh McDaniels? Do they go to Brian Flores? I always wanted Flores to be the guy after Bill. I just think he's a really good football mind. I think the players believe in him. I think he got a raw deal in Miami, only scratched the surface of what he could do. We've seen what he's done in Minnesota. So, if they go to Flores, I don't know, maybe one more. And are they going to put the talent around him? He had tremendous talent around him in Tampa Bay that they didn't have here. So maybe one more if everything else falls into place.
Do you think Gronk would have came back too?
Maybe. He's definitely still would have retired after 18 because I just think he was so beat up and needed that year off. Just Brady talk him into playing another year in 2020, maybe. Yeah, it's possible.
I mean, that would have been cool if that happened, but
yeah,
that was a whole situation. We're going to go next. My next one that I thought of. Do you think Julian Edelman should be a Hall of Famer? Me and Skaz were talking about that in the back. I think that there's an argument that you can make that, yes, he should be.
You can make an argument for it. There's just so many guys that need to get in before him. Like, you probably have to put Wes Welker in if you're putting Julian Edelman in.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bill Belichick needs to get in. Like, that's ridiculous, right? And,
100%.
Torrey Holt is a massive snub. Should be in. So, you can make an argument for it. I think the list of guys in front of him is going to make it too difficult, though.
If you were to make an argument, though, what would your argument be?
Postseason. He's the greatest postseason wide receiver, the most productive postseason wide receiver of all time. He did it. He was at his best when it mattered most. He was an elite player when it mattered most. That would be the argument to me.
Okay. This is my kind of odd question that I was telling you about before. I feel like this one isn't like the rest.
Okay.
Should the Patriots have kept Joe Thuney?
Yeah.
And why, of course?
Well, the whole line kind of fell apart, and they needed to rebuild the tackle position. That was going to happen either way. So it would have given them more stability while they did that. I believe at the time they had the money to keep him in terms of the salary cap. They definitely should have kept Shaq Mason. Mm-hmm. They definitely should have kept Shaq Mason instead of trading him just to use a first-round pick on Cole Strange. One of the two. I don't think they should have gotten rid of both as quickly as they did. If they moved on from Thuney and kept Mason, they probably would have been okay. If they kept Thuney, it probably allows them to trade Shaq Mason without the fallout. They should have kept one of those guys.
Yeah, I feel like that was definitely a sad fall. I was sad to see him go when that happened, but
it's a good question, though.
Yeah. Do you want me to go down the Jimmy Garoppolo route next, or do you want me to go somewhere else?
Yeah. What do you got for Jimmy G?
Okay, I got 2 questions about Jimmy G. Did Jimmy G start the Brady and Bill Belichick beef in your eyes? No, you don't think so?
I think that started when Malcolm Butler didn't play in the Super Bowl.
Okay. I mean, possibly. I feel like we're never going to know, though.
I mean, I don't think Brady loved it, but I don't think that was like...
It's somewhat disrespectful. Somewhat.
But I think Belichick did that. I don't think that was something that, like, their relationship couldn't have come back from.
Okay.
I wonder if Brady looked at Malcolm Butler being benched as Bill costing him a Super Bowl. And that's the kind of thing you can't come back from.
And we're never going to know.
Right.
Because he's never going to tell anybody. He's going to go to his deathbed with that one. My second question about Jimmy Garoppolo, what if the Patriots never traded him? What if, after Brady left, we still had Jimmy G on the bench?
Things end up actually pretty similar because I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo's that much better, if at all, than Mac Jones. Got hurt a lot. Availability was a problem, so you're looking at Stidham. You know, do they still draft Bailey Zappi as his backup? Probably. So now we do Zappi fever again, but we do it against Jimmy Garoppolo instead of against Mac Jones. Yeah, I think we're more or less in the same spot.
That's a valid answer. Okay, we're gonna go back to the scandals, the good old scandals of the New England Patriots.
Okay.
Do you think Deflategate was real? And do you think that Tom Brady was the main guy there?
I believe in science and the ideal gas law.
Where's Michael Hurley when you
Can you explain the gas law?
You know how when it's cold out and your car says your tires are deflated? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I say to. I go to college in the South, and everyone hates us because the Patriots were so good.
Yeah.
And their only thing they tell me is, oh, Deflategate, Spygate. And I'm like, it's not real.
I was in college in upstate New York with Jets and Bills fans when Deflategate was happening.
Ooh.
So I've been in those trenches.
Yeah.
Not as much as Hurley, but I've been in those trenches, trust me.
I couldn't ever get my mind behind the fact that Tom Brady would do that. He's too good of a player.
And you know what? Even if he did,
I don't care.
Right. And so the Colts couldn't stop LeGarrette Blount running right down their throat because the ball was deflated. It is the most costly interception in Tom Brady's career.
Yeah.
Because DeQuell Jackson gets his hands on that football and brings it to somebody, and it is the most costly interception of his career.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Riley, what about non-sports? What do you got?
Okay. Non-sports. I got 5 questions for you. We're going to stay on the college train here.
Okay.
Is college worth it? That's a loaded question.
Ooh. Yes, because I think I think it's worth it. I don't think everybody needs to go to college, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think
like trade school's an option.
Yeah,
That's
you can be very successful without going to college. If you go, I think if you find the place that's right for you, it can be worth it because of like the social experiences, the life skills you learn, like the degree, not all of it.
I think you almost have to kind of make it worth it.
That's exactly
and I mean,
what
that's what I did. I remember my major, I was a sports media major. As ridiculous as that sounds, it was a real thing. And the guy who ran our program, his whole philosophy was you can't learn this in the classroom, so we're not going to give you a lot of work. We're not going to give you a heavy class load. You can either go screw around and have fun, or you can use that time as an opportunity to get involved with student TV, get involved with student radio, get involved with internships, and really learn how this works and make connections and network. And that's what I did. And in that sense, it was absolutely worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I don't know how much stuff I learned in classes in college I've used in real life. The things I learned working for the radio station, the TV station, I interned at an ESPN radio station up there. I worked for the Cape League. I called games for the Harwich Mariners. I interned for Felger and Maz on the TV side in 2014, I believe. That was all incredibly worth it. So I think as a life experience, it's absolutely worth it.
Yeah, I mean, you get what you put in.
Right.
Yeah, because I do a bunch at my school, and people call me crazy sometimes because I have no free time, but...
Now, it's going to pay off on the other side.
I mean, you got to do it. You got to have the grind. Okay, I'm going to switch it up a little bit.
Okay.
What's the best area of the country to live in? I don't know all the places you've lived. Okay.
New England.
Okay, if you can't pick New England...
If I couldn't pick
where would
New
you
England,
go?
Ooh.
Are you going to say Florida? I feel like a lot of people around here say Florida.
But like somewhere
warm.
You're going to a college football city.
In that area. I will. My favorite city besides Boston that I've been to is Nashville.
Oh, really?
I loved Nashville.
Okay.
I've been a few times. I haven't been in a while. I haven't been before the pandemic, but I've been in Nashville like 4 times. And I wasn't even making a point of like I kept having events. There was like a college broadcasting conference that was in Nashville. And then I went for the winter meetings one year. They were in Nashville. And then I think I had like friends were just going and I got invited. So maybe Nashville, I guess.
Have you ever been to Knoxville?
I have not. I've heard good things
It's
about
awesome.
Knoxville, and I've heard good things about Austin, Texas.
Oh, really?
So those would be two other places that I would
Yeah.
consider.
I would go to Knoxville. It's really nice. I've been there a few times. Okay. If you could do your 20s over again, what would you do different?
Oh,
That was a good one, right?
yeah, that was probably. I say this as I sit here.
Riley's going to throw her arm out, patting herself on the back.
I
with these
know.
Questions.
I say this as I sit here, a little bit sore, admittedly, after playing a scramble. Probably just take better care of myself physically. I was never a big gym guy. I put on the COVID 20, certainly, because I used to be like a stick. Yeah, probably just like take care of myself better, go to the gym more, take care of myself better physically.
It's so lame, but that is I think that's my answer too. Like, just like, not that I have like, a million cavities or like, serious health issues, knock on wood, but just like, take care of yourself just a hair better, save you down the line a little bit.
I got like one cavity. Last year was like the first time I got a cavity.
I think I got
had
two.
one, and it's like, oh man, yeah. It just
What a
like
shot.
it's the little stuff. It's like, all right, my back hurts a little bit after swinging the golf clubs all day, and I'm fine. But I just like there are those wake up moments now where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in my 30s. Like my group chat with my college buddies has been discussing for the last few days. Big talking point that we now feel we need to stretch before we hit the driving range because we'll feel it if we don't. Skaz is nodding back there. This isn't just me being out of shape. He knows.
I'll admit it right now, Barth. I stretch every night before bed and every morning when I wake up for like 10 minutes. Part of my daily routine.
Not just like the big stretch waking up.
Oh,
but like
no. I like go
that's
out of my
probably
way.
good for you.
So
then.
I should start stretching, is what you're saying.
Stretch it out, Riley.
Well, no,
yes.
you should like just take better care of yourself
Yes.
overall, so you don't have to stretch when you're
Okay.
30.
That's probably
just
the
to get
real
through the
advice.
day. Yeah,
Yeah.
like run on the treadmill, lift some weights, play pickup hoops, whatever. Do that.
Okay, will do. I will get
All
on
right.
that. Two more random questions, and then I'm
Okay.
going to end it off with one more sports one.
Okay.
Why radio and why sports? Why did you want to work in sports? Why the radio?
I wanted to work in sports because I really liked sports, and I wasn't going to be able to play them. That's pretty simple. The like origin story here is I got cut from, and this I didn't think I was going to be like a pro baseball player or anything. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I got cut from the baseball team freshman year, from the freshman baseball team, and the coach called me into his office and he's like, "Hey," it was the only one who got cut. And the coach was like, "Hey, well, if you want to stay involved, we need somebody to call the games on local access TV." And I was like, it could be fun. I'll just kind of goof on my friends on the broadcast, something to do after school, whatever. And I started doing it, and I liked it, and I wasn't horrible at it. And then my high school had like a TV media program, so I started doing that. We did like the morning announcements as a TV news show. And then I got involved with like an after school program with it, a guy named Jimmy Young who used to work for NECN. And I was like, I could see myself doing this. So that was just why sports, because I love sports. Why media, because it was a way in. And then it turned out I actually genuinely enjoy the media part. And I enjoyed this part. Why radio? I could make the dumb joke face for it. This is just where the path took me. I actually want to do play-by-play. That was like my first dream, like job. That was the path I was trying to be on, and it led me here. And if you want some advice, like I say this to people all the time, have a path, like have a primary path you're focused on. That's good, and maybe that's what you end up doing, and that's awesome. But I think you need to love the media part more than the sports part to do this because it is so demanding. So if you maybe that path isn't where your career ends up, and like I think I kind of hit the ceiling with play-by-play, and I got an offer to cover the Patriots. And it was like, well, I'm going to go here because I actually see more of a ceiling here, and I ended up loving it and ended up working out. So that's the origin story.
That's awesome. I thought I wanted to be a sideline reporter, and I did it freshman year. Ooh, not my thing.
Okay.
So path changed already after a freshman year in college. But yeah, this is my last question for general life questions. And don't give anything away. But
okay.
What would be your best vacation spot?
Hey, just put me on a beach. I don't care where.
But what beach? You don't have like a favorite beach?
Don't put me on a beach. I don't care. Put
Okay.
me on a beach. Somewhere warm.
Would you rather like a United States Key West, Florida beach, like a Caribbean beach?
That's a good question. I do like you go down to like the Caribbean. They have like those all inclusives.
Yes.
Yeah, I've done that a couple times. That's a good time.
Which islands have you been to?
I have been to Jamaica,
Okay.
Aruba, the Dominican, and is it Grand Cayman? Is that an island down there?
Maybe.
If that's in the Caribbean, it sounds familiar. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and I've been there. We used to do a family vacation every year, so we would go to all places down there.
Yeah, I've been to Jamaica, St. Lucia, and then Turks and Caicos. I would, if you ever get a chance.
Okay.
I would recommend the beaches.
But
Are beautiful.
put me on a beach anywhere.
That's
I don't
valid.
care. I just want to go. I just want to go sit on a beach.
Do you like Jimmy Buffett?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big beach guy.
Yes.
Yeah, big beach guy. Okay, last question of the night. I'm going to end this off on another banger.
Okay.
Would you rather relive the Malcolm Butler interception or relive 28-3?
Oh wow. So it's funny. I have this weird attachment to 28-3 because 28-3 is the last game that I watched as like a real fan.
Okay.
Like not covering it. So there's a part of me that's like, I would like that feeling again. But Malcolm Butler is in college. I lived in an apartment, like 6 people, and we all had our own rooms. And they had a big Super Bowl party, but I wanted to watch Patriots fans. So it was me and like 4 of my friends locked in my room, just locked in on the game. Everybody's just whatever, having a good time out there in a party. And then the pick happened, and we went outside. It was just an unbelievable night. Probably that, not because of the game, but where I was in the night. 28-3, all my friends are still like in college or working out. I just watched that with like my parents' friends.
Okay.
I know
So it was like the people. It was the people.
Yeah, and no offense to my parents' friends by any means, but I just I loved my junior year of college. My junior year of college was unbelievable, and that was a very memorable night.
Mm-hmm.
So I very much enjoyed that night. I
Yeah.
would love to relive that night. Yeah.
And I feel like 28-3 was more of a build-up where the interception was just like bang. Like,
Yeah, that was. I felt horrible for most of that
Yeah.
night. So then again, Curse made that catch, and I felt sick to my stomach too in the Malcolm Butler interception. But
Yeah.
I'd probably go. That's a good question. I'd probably go Malcolm Butler interception.
Okay. Those are all my questions.
Good
I
stuff.
appreciate all your answers.
Good stuff. Good job. No, those were good questions.
Thank you.
Wonder what got left on the cutting room floor. If I fill in again, we'll have to run this segment back. Do we even have time to take another break, Skaz, or do I just take this to 55?
Up to you, Barth. Whatever you want.
We'll take one more break here. We'll be back. Wrap the show up next. It's Alex Barth in for Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way.